Next week, we'll be back with part 2 of this conversation.
At Rusty Bethel Drive, I'm Paisol Forbes. This is ZNS.
It's What's Trending with Jiminita Swain and the Bahama Beauty at the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas from Studio A. It all starts right now.
Welcome, everyone. It's Monday, May 19th, and you're tuned into the ultimate destination for all things lifestyle, entertainment, and everything in between. I'm Anthea Ferguson, filling in for Jiminita Swain, and you're watching What's Trending, the show where we bring you the latest trends, hottest news, and insider tips on living your best life. Whether you're here for fashion, food, fitness, or the latest buzz from social media, we've got you covered. Let's dive in. Former U.S. President Joe Biden has been diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer that has spread to his bones. In a statement from his personal office, 82-year-old Biden says while this represents a more aggressive form of the disease, the cancer appears to be hormone sensitive, which allows for effective management, adding that he and his family are reviewing treatment options with his physicians. Well wishes pouring in for President Biden after the announcement from current U.S. President Donald Trump, former U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris, among others. And a new American Idol has been crowned. 27-year-old physical education teacher from Mississippi, Jamal Roberts, taking home the crown during the singing competition's season 23 finale Sunday night. Roberts is the second black male artist to win the competition after Ruben Studdard took the title in the show's second season in 2003. Roberts won last night after drawing 26 million fan votes, the most votes the show has ever seen since the last 15 seasons. And today is May 19th, and guess what? It's May Ray Day. That's right, it's the one day of the year where we're all encouraged to step outside and soak up a little sunshine, responsibly, of course. May Ray Day isn't some ancient pagan ritual or a high-pressure holiday. No, it was created by the McCormick family of St. Joseph, Michigan, as a fun, unofficial way to celebrate the warming weather and longer days of May. So whether you're working from home, stuck in a cubicle, or binging your 5th docuseries, take a break. Go outside and feel that sweet vitamin D and let the Ray and May Ray Day brighten your mood. Well, coming up in today's show, we're talking fibroids with Dr. Mikhail Higgins. In the sensual notes, the perfume bar is teaching us how to layer our fragrances. And we dive into what's viral to find out what's got the group chat buzzing. Health, heat, and hashtags. It's all right here, and it's all happening right after this break. You're watching What's Trending.
From sweet treats to savory Bahamian dishes to the best in Bahamian culture and heritage, the Second Bites on Bay in the heart of downtown Nassau proved to be a resounding success. That's why the Director of Operations and Product Development at the Tourism Development Corporation, Dwight Gibson, is inviting both residents and vendors to join in on this latest food truck pop-up.
This is, it's our second Bites on Bay event, second month in a row. Another great opportunity for tourists and locals to sample some Bahamian culture, some food culture. Come down, have a few drinks, just in a very nice, relaxed atmosphere. We're really excited about what this is developing into, and it's really building up a momentum for our permanent food truck park that's going to be coming on Bay Street. We try to obviously spread that tourist dollar and everybody get involved in the tourism industry, right? So for us and the vendors, we're rotating them each month, so everybody has an opportunity to come out, show what they have to offer. People can come and enjoy the food in a nice atmosphere. I think for them it gives them great exposure. It gives them exposure to the international market, particularly being here at the cruise port, and in addition to the local market. So TDC website. For those that are vendors, can register on tdcbahamas.com. We have a registry of vendors. The event is going to happen once a month, typically around the last Saturday in the month. This one we moved just to try a different date, but generally around the last Saturday in the month. You know, to our local audience, please come down, enjoy it. It's really a really good event. Wholesome family event. You can bring all your kids down, sample some Bahamian food in a really great atmosphere.
For more tourism updates, visit Tourism Today or Bahamas.com. I'm Joshua Robbins, and this is Tourism Today.
They affect up to 80% of women by the age of 50, yet many suffer in silence. Fibroids can mean years of pain, heavy bleeding, and even fertility issues. But what if there was a less invasive way to treat them without major surgery? Today, we're speaking with one of the leading voices in women's health here in the Bahamas, Dr. Mikhail Higgins, an interventional radiologist who is helping change the way we understand and treat fibroids using cutting-edge, minimally invasive procedures. Dr. Higgins, thank you so much for being here and joining us on What's Trending.
Thank you for allowing me to be here, Anthea.
So what exactly are fibroids and who do they typically affect?
So fibroids are benign muscular tumors that occur in and throughout the uterus. And so what we know is that black women are disproportionately affected as a result of these fibroids. Up to 80% of black women will experience one fibroid by the age of 50, and about 25% of black women by the age of 30 will experience a fibroid. Now, when we think about white women, they're actually not so far off. About 60 to 70% of white women will experience fibroids by the age of 50 as well. We also know that lifestyle factors that affect black women put them at risk for having worse symptoms. We know that obviously obesity is an epidemic that's also sort of within the black community that affects our women of color more so than white women, and that's something that can exacerbate symptoms as well.
And you talk about the black woman, right? And we talk about our Caribbean black woman, and you talk about lifestyle factors, right? So I can say personally that I have been diagnosed with fibroids as well, women in my family as well. Some more serious than others. I've had family members have to actually get them removed. I have been lucky enough to not. So what are some of the symptoms, telltale signs we need to look for to say, hey, I need to go to my doctor and get this checked out?
Yeah, so first and foremost, once you have a family history, obviously you should have the spidey sense that, okay, you could be at risk. And so I think it's important for women to just know, when you think about 80%, you know, 8 out of 10 women in our community are going to have fibroids at one point during their reproductive journeys. So that just means that you just need to stay ready. So you should still be getting checkups. You should still be thinking about this, that it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. That's the first thing, that ever-ready, evergreen, perennial disposition. The second thing is when we talk about symptoms, we're thinking about menstrual symptoms that range from heavy menstrual periods, painful menstrual periods, that will probably sort of impact you in ways where you have experiences of lightheadedness, experience of headaches, experiences of low energy. These are sort of the menstrual symptoms that have to do with the fact that the fibroids are really sinking blood from your body into their bellies for their growth. Not for your growth of your brain, for the growth of your lungs, for the function of your muscles in your body, it's for them. So women can have issues of painful intercourse to the point where some of my patients have forbidden intercourse from their partners. In one particular case, she ended up in a divorce because of this fear of having intercourse. And then there are other issues like bloating, of just obviously issues of self-image, because again, I have a woman who's a personal trainer. When you look at her, everything else looks amazing, and then you look at her abdomen and you're like, oh my goodness. So it's almost like she's doing all this work out here, but what's there? So you talk about issues of self-image that are going to impact these women. So those are two categories of symptoms, the bulk symptoms and obviously the menstrual symptoms.
And so many ways in which fibroids can affect a woman's life. And you know, we've heard about the traditional ways of removing them. We've heard about the surgeries, the hysterectomies and all that stuff. But you're now dabbling in some new technology, the uterine fibroid embolization. Right. What exactly is that, and how can that be beneficial?
So this is my life in terms of my commitment to this work. So I'm fully invested, so I won't definitely use the word dabbling. So for me, I am, you know, when you think about sort of, you know, hysterectomy sounds like just a simple procedure, but it's literally a woman trading her symbol of womanhood, her womb, okay, because of an issue that invaded her. Okay, you're giving away your ability to procreate, to bring life into this world, to be fruitful and multiply. It's almost as if you have a garden that has weeds. You decide you don't want weeds anymore. You put cement over the garden. No more weeds, but also no more flowers.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and then the second group is obviously the myomectomy, which again, in the case of myomectomies, the goal is to preserve the uterus. And some women will have these surgeries that really should be offered once every 8 to 15 years, multiple times in a decade. And the final thing is, which I'm offering, which is basically the uterine artery embolization. This is a non-surgical solution that basically treats all of the fibroids. Big, small fibroids, the entire vine now is destroyed, and so you actually get the full generation. If you are predisposed to them and you get them day one, full treatment, fibroids go on an 8 to 15 year cycle. So you really shouldn't experience any new fibroids for 8 to 15 years.
Is this a high-risk procedure?
Absolutely not. It is extremely low risk. When you think about sort of risks, I mean, the greatest risk of infection, anytime we break the skin, there's a risk of infection, and that is something that's less than 1% in terms of severe risk.
Dr. Higgins, this seems like a topic that we need to really delve into a lot more. We wish we had more time to go into the nitty-gritty, but tell our viewers where they can find you and how they can follow up on this embolization process.
Absolutely. So you can find me on bahamasfibroidclinic.com. That's our website. You can also follow me on Instagram at dr.dr.McHale-Higgins, and you can also find us on our webpage on Facebook, and you can reach us at 242-818-2342.
Dr. Higgins, thank you so much for shedding light on such an important issue. So yeah, next up, we're turning up the elegance. Stay with us for a look at unlocking the secret to fragrance layering.
Bahama Striping Group of Companies, we have been in Exoma now for the past 4 years, carrying out our paving program. A part of our company's philosophy is to do some work to international standards. So when you look at our paving division, we have a state-of-the-art lab to do all of our testing in-house, as well as a state-of-the-art asphalt plant with a trained technician carrying out the work on that site. The overarching goal of our company is to produce the work that we're doing in the entire Bahamas to international standards. We also make a difference by the training of our staff. We have a very intensive training program going on to where we are teaching young men how to learn the art of striping. Being a young man myself, I've made mistakes in the past. I was given a second chance to better my life, and it's only fitting that we pass that along. What's important for us is giving them a second chance for them to get a skill and a career that could take them further in life.
Tired of looking at the same old kitchen? Step 1. Our talented recommended designer, Mark, crafts a custom design just for you. Step 2. Once your design is ready, CBS Bahamas makes ordering effortless. Your dream kitchen is within reach. Step 3. Our recommended installers bring your vision to life, ensuring every detail is perfectly in place. Sit back and relax as your dream space becomes a reality. Visit cbsbahamas.com and start bringing your home improvement dreams to life today.
Last week, Jim and Nita joined our friends from the Perfume Bar in studio. Tune in and discover how to properly layer your fragrances to ensure your scent lingers in rooms.
What you're about to experience may cause sudden confidence, lingering stares, and an overwhelming desire to strut, even if you're just heading to the grocery store. We all have that one scent we love, but what if you could make it completely your own? Today, we're diving into the art of fragrance layering, a beauty secret that takes your signature scent to the next level. Joining us is Charmaine Wright, a fragrance expert and assistant manager at the Perfume Bar, who's here to teach us how to mix, match, and master the perfect blend so you can smell unforgettable. Welcome back to What's Trending, Charmaine.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here with us. Now, for those who may not know, layering your fragrance is the new rave. It's all about creating a scent that's uniquely you, luxurious, lasting, and totally unforgettable. Charmaine, can you start by explaining what fragrance layering actually is?
Is a blend of fragrances as well as body works, where you have shower gels, you have shower oils, you have body oils, body lotions, body creams,
body butters.
Body butters. All of those are a part of layering.
Okay, so we know that Chanel is known for its iconic fragrances.
Yes.
Why is the brand ideal for layering?
Because, you know, it's been around for a number of years, and, you know, when you think of scents, you think of Chanel.
And it has so many different fragrances.
Yes,
and
it
aromas.
does. Yes.
So can layering make a scent last longer or evolve differently throughout the day?
Yes, it does.
So just explain it for us so we get an idea of how that works.
Okay, when you layer, it intends to give your scents a more lasting longevity throughout the day. You understand? Because basically you want your fragrance to last you at least 5 to 7 hours. So when layering, it helps to, you know, boost that. Yes, yes.
Makes sense. So talk to us about what you have here in terms of what's the best way to begin layering if you're new to it. Is there a right order to do when we're layering? Or?
Yes, of course.
So
basically, you would want to layer, you want to start with a clean skin. Automatically, yes. You want to start with a clean skin. You want to, is basically no particular order, but you basically want to start with your eau de parfum, which is your stronger base. Then you go to your eau de toilette. So whether you want to use your body butter, your body oil, whichever stage you want to use it in is fine. But just make sure that your skin is clean, you know, and your oils. It helps
give us
the
an
sticks.
idea with one or two of the scents that you have here.
Okay, here is the classic Chanel Coco Mademoiselle.
So we'd be starting with this, as you said.
Yes.
And talk about some of the notes that are in this.
Okay.
I know it's sweet. So that's like you say, it's a strong base.
It's
so
a strong
obviously
base.
If you're like into body butters, then you would put on the body butter next, and if you're into oils, you'd put in
your oils next.
So all that gives you a smooth combination and gives you that puff.
Yes.
So wherever you are, that scent is gonna.
Yes, they know you reach, and they know when you left.
That is true.
Yes.
This does smell right. So should we stick to fragrances from the same scent family, or is it to mix bold contrast?
You can stick with the same family. You know, as I say, you wear your perfume, it's something that is much heavier, and then you go lighter with your eau de toilette. But if you choose to layer with something else, anything with a vanilla tone works well.
That sounds good. I love vanilla. So anything else you want us to try from Chanel that is, you know, a good layering option for us?
I don't know if you want to feel the oil. You just take a little. Feel the texture and the scent.
That's nice. So it goes on smooth.
Smooth, yes. And you see the
and
oil.
The scent is very
it's
complimentary. So it gives your skin a little shimmer.
Yes, it does.
Well, because it's
a little glow.
And obviously, that definitely would lock in the scent of the eau de parfum.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
So are there any rules to avoid, to say, clashing scents or overdoing it? Because you don't ever want to be that person, and when they pass, you be like, what is that? Just negative, not the positive.
Yes, but for me, you don't want to just go with too much heavy, which is too much eau de parfum. You always want to go heavy and light.
So you have to find a balance.
Yes, you have to find a balance, what works for you.
And what would you say are some of the common mistakes people make when layering? It sounds like a lot.
Yes. But like I said, the heavy on heavy, because when you walk into a place, you don't know if someone has sinus or
other allergies.
Yes, or other allergies. So you don't want to.
You don't want it to
punch them in the face.
Overpowering.
Yes, you don't want to punch them.
That's the reaction you don't want.
Yes, you don't want to punch them in the face.
You just want them to be intrigued by the
you just want to walk in and then
And you say,
You know,
oh, what are you wearing?
Yes.
The positive aspect, not the negative.
Not the negative.
Makes sense. So any expert tips for layering fragrance for different occasions, like day versus night, casual versus formal? Is there a reason to change it up, or it just depends?
No,
on
it all depends on the
it's
scent.
summer, you want maybe nice light floral fragrances, and then if say you have a big event, I think you maybe want to go with a stronger Chanel fragrance. I guess it depends on the person what
their tastes are. But like we said on our last segment, you know, citrus and there's more for the heat, and you know you would want to wear more florals more during the daytime, and then you could go to the sweet and the heavy
and the woody.
Yes, okay. Or the oriental.
That's some good advice. But
yes.
What's one layering combination that you love right now that our viewers should try?
Okay, my go-to. This may not be for someone else, but I love the La Vie Belle, which is from Lancome, and the Fame that is from Paco Rabanne. You know, that has a more vanilla tone, and the La Vie has a more sweet, subtle, you know, something that lasts, lingers, and trail.
So that sounds like a nice combination.
Yes.
So Charmaine giving you all a heads up, guys. The fragrances are deeply personal. It tells your story without saying a word. And with the art of laying, you're just not wearing a scent. You're creating an experience that's completely your own. A big thank you to you, Charmaine, for joining us here on What's Trending and teaching us how to elevate our everyday fragrance routine.
Yes.
Well, if you'd like to discover and purchase your perfect layering combination, visit the Perfume Bar at any of their locations. Let your signature scent begin there. We're taking it online with What's the Buzz. Stay tuned. There's more after the break.
If you would like to be a part of What's Trending, DM us on Instagram at What's Trending on ZNS.
Diet-friendly special.
Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, we have been in Exoma now for the past 4 years, carrying out our paving program. A part of our company's philosophy is to do some work to international standards. So when you look at our paving division, we have a state-of-the-art lab to do all of our testing in-house, as well as a state-of-the-art asphalt plant with a trained technician carrying out the work on that site. The overarching goal of our company is to produce the work that we're doing in the entire Bahamas to international standards. We also make a difference by the training of our staff. We have a very intensive training program going on to where we are teaching young men how to learn the art of striping. Being a young man myself, I've made mistakes in the past. I was given a second chance to better my life, and it's only fitting that we pass that along. What's important for us is giving them a second chance for them to get a skill and a career that could take them further in life.
Your home is your sanctuary. The last thing you need to worry about is rodents. Once they enter your property, they can be tough to get out. If you're concerned about rodents, call Rent-A-Kill Initial. We offer the latest, most effective treatment for safe, fast, and long-lasting results. From prevention to elimination, our integrated approach guarantees protection. For rodent control you can trust, there's only one name in the Bahamas: Rent-A-Kill Initial.
People talking about, dragging, or obsessing over this week? Let's find out, because if it's buzzing online, we've got it right here.
I'm the Bahama Beauty, and here's What's the Buzz for this week. Jonquel Jones still making headlines as a trailblazer. The reigning WNBA Finals MVP made the commencement speech at her alma mater, George Washington University in Washington, D.C. this past weekend. Her message? Always trust your instincts, emphasizing your gut doesn't lie. She shared her journey from the Bahamas to basketball stardom, highlighting the importance of resilience, authenticity, and embracing one's unique path.
It would be easy for me to tell you to go for it, to chase your dream, and it'll all work out. At least those are the standard platitudes on an occasion like this. But the truth is, success is rarely simple. As you begin this journey, remember, trust your gut, always. Transferring to GW was a gut decision, a deep, instinctive pull that I felt long before I ever acted on it. And to be honest with you, I didn't listen to that feeling right away. I tried to push it down and convince myself that honoring my initial commitment meant doing what was expected of me. I told myself that walking away from what I knew meant I was giving up and not growing. But your gut doesn't lie. It whispers, then it nudges, and eventually it shouts. And my decision to transfer to GW changed everything.
Jones's message resonated deeply, reminding the class of 2025 that success isn't just about accolades, but about staying true to oneself and persevering through challenges. She was also awarded an honorary Doctorate of Humanities degree at the ceremony.
Celtics have only 2 team fouls. Jaylen Brown back in, lost the ball. Anunoby all by himself throws it down. And Tatum is hurt. Tatum is down.
A gut-wrenching end to the 2024-2025 season for the number 2 seed Boston Celtics. After finally snagging one game against the number 3 seed New York Knicks and beginning the second round series 0-2, superstar Jason Tatum suffered what we now know as a ruptured Achilles in the final 3 minutes of Game 4. Tatum, who was up to 42 points on the night, was seen writhing in pain after a collision with OG Anunoby. He was helped off of the court by team staff and wheeled into the locker room, visibly distraught. It was almost a full 24 hours before an update on Tatum's health was given, confirming that he had successful surgery on his ruptured Achilles tendon. Although a 1-year recovery period is common for these types of injuries, there was no timetable given for Tatum's return.
Summer in the Bahamas. The weather is hot, but not as hot as the ZNS summer packages. Get ads on ZNS TV or ZNS Radio Network or the TV community page, or a combination of all three. ZNS has got you covered with great prices, whatever package you choose. Book before June 7th and get the local Federation Championship Baseball bonus full of all kinds of extras free of charge. Contact your account executive or call ZNS Sales at 502-3800 today. Hot summer package rates valid until July 31st.
Diet-friendly special.
Hey, Desi. Hey, honey. You got no message for me yet? Can I tell you why I get no money? At least not yet. I get my money. Managers. Oh, and I done upload it.
Hello, Miss Daisy. Your check is ready.
Thanks. I come for that little thing. You got it?
Money managers, responsible lenders for responsible people.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online. both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian tanks, and if you got tanks to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting tingsybahamas.com.
On Tuesday's show, Liquorland will be in studio. What they have planned for us is something you don't want to miss. And that's how we wrap another trending day. Thanks so much for hanging with us here on What's Trending. Remember, the conversation never stops. Catch up with us on Instagram at What's Trending on ZNS. Share your thoughts and let us know what you think should be trending next. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. with more headlines, highlights, and heat. Until then, stay curious and most of all, stay connected.
At the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, I'm Clint Watson, and this is ZNS.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Here's a look at tonight's top stories.
The nation's leader hints at another major announcement coming for Grand Bahama. Plus, the investment director reveals exclusive details inside the Grand Lucayan deal. And could new projects lead to lower power bills for consumers? We have the details.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Raven Davis. Thank you so much for tuning in. Well, things are looking up for Grand Bahama, and on the heels of what is to be a nearly $1 billion investment, the nation's leader says there is more to come, also calling on his party to stay focused. Our Cleopatra Murphy has tonight's top story.
And I'll be making another announcement in another 2 weeks about Grand Bahama.
More positive news could be on the way for Grand Bahama. Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis alluded to something substantial during a recent PLP branch meeting on New Providence Sunday. This comes after the Davis administration signed the heads of agreement for the sale of the Grand Lucayan Resort to Concord Wilshire and its Bahamian subsidiary, Ancient Waters Bahamas, for $120 million Thursday for what will eventually be an $827 million phased 3-hotel mixed-use development. The Prime Minister says it marks a turning point.
Slowly but surely, the page is turning. The corner is being turned. And the feeling in the country is changing. People can feel it. You can feel it. For the first time in a long time, Bahamians aren't just surviving. They're starting to believe again.
Still, Davis says his party has a lot left to do, suggesting the PLP stands between progress and rollback. He challenged his party to sharpen its message, adding that now is not the time for a division.
The one thing we can't afford to fight is ourselves. The PLP cannot be its biggest enemy. We cannot waste time pulling each other down while we are trying to lift the country up. We cannot spend energy fighting internal battles when the real fight is out there, in the streets, in the hearts and the minds of the Bahamian people.
The nation's leader also hit out at Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard, who was notably absent from the Grand Lucayan's HOA signing last week, also critical of his ability to run the country.
He missed the chance to stand with his people when they needed to see unity, vision, and leadership. And why? Because deep down, what's good for Grand Bahama is bad for the F&M. Because progress exposes just how empty his politics really are. He couldn't clap for jobs. He couldn't stand for growth. He couldn't put his ego aside for even one day. That's not strength. That's weakness wrapped in pride.
For his part, Pintard in a statement says the F&M has long supported responsible investment that delivers tangible benefits and creates meaningful opportunities for Bahamians, adding that we believe the successful redevelopment of the Grand Lucayan has the potential to do just that. Where such development is pursued transparently and in the public interest, we stand ready to collaborate in moving forward. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Meantime, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honorable Chester Cooper, is addressing calls from the opposition for more transparency regarding the Grand Lucayan deal. Cooper describes this as an exciting and promising time for the people of Grand Bahama and is urging critics to rally behind the project in support of the island's future.
Frankly, the people of Grand Bahama are excited about the project. It's going to work wonders for tourism in Grand Bahama. It is regrettable that some who wish to be leaders of our country don't appreciate the progress the way the people seem to be inspired by it. This is an exciting time for the island of Grand Bahama. No doubt the Prime Minister will provide further details in the House over the coming days and weeks.
The Deputy Prime Minister adds that the government is making strides toward delivering real progress for the people of Grand Bahama.
People are excited about that progress, and I once termed the F&M enemies of progress. So I trust that they will get on board. They will see the excitement in the economy of Grand Bahama, and they will get behind the new owners of the Grand Lucayan Resort 100%.
While Grand Bahamians eagerly await another major announcement in the coming weeks, the long-anticipated redevelopment of the Grand Lucayan Resort is finally gaining momentum. The government recently signed a significant heads of agreement with Concord Wilshire. The deal promises new jobs, improved infrastructure, and the start of a transformative chapter for Grand Bahama. Our Devontae Hanna sat down with the Director of Investments to break down what this development really means for the island's future.
The $827 million redevelopment of the Grand Lucayan Resort is said to be a turning point for Grand Bahama, according to Director of Investments Felicia Woods-Hanna. And this, as she says, the real work on the property is set to begin within the next 30 to 60 days.
And so they're in the process of fine-tuning those plans. And once that happens, right away, we should see jobs for Bahamians.
Over 3,000 jobs, according to Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis. The end result of negotiations that Woods-Hanna tells us started with Concord Wilshire back on December 1st, 2023. And after a year and a half, the government came forward with a deal it believes is beneficial to both parties.
There are no concessions that were offered to the developer that is not available for Bahamian developers and foreign direct investors alike.
The developer has committed to building a cruise port, 3 hotel towers, a mega yacht marina, water park, and a George Norman-designed golf course. The completion date, though, is fluid.
They did provide a timeline for the 3 phases of the project and the demolition. However, of course, this is a process that goes through a number of government agencies, and so the technocrats have to now review it, and then those timelines may change.
The announcement follows opposition leader Michael Pintard calling for the full details of the heads of agreement to be revealed. While noting his concern, Woods-Hanna says that has never been the case with other agreements. She did make clear that the deal allows for Bahamian economic empowerment.
They would have unveiled plans for retail opportunities. That's why the straw vendors, the taxi cab drivers are all excited. So there are a number of different areas pursuant to the national investment policy that are reserved for Bahamians, will remain reserved for Bahamians.
The government has assured that safeguards are in place to protect national interests and to hold the developers accountable. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Devontae Hanna. Devontae Hanna, ZNS Network News.
And with all these developments comes an increased demand for utilities, which could lead to lower electricity rates for consumers. Grand Bahama Power Company's Chief Operating Officer Nikita Mullings explains how it could pay off for clients. Our Cleopatra Murphy has that story.
Officials at the Grand Bahama Power Company are welcoming the recent signing of the heads of agreement for the sale of the Grand Lucayan Resort to Concord Wilshire, and Chief Operating Officer Nikita Mullings says an increase in customer base could lead to reduced power costs for customers.
As energy costs are shared across the customer base and the customer class, once projects like this and any additional growth of customers, residentials, commercials, and industrials come onto the grid, what it does is increase our customer base for the future, therefore potentially being able to reduce the energy costs for the future. So you have more customers paying less for power.
This comes as customers have in recent times spoken out against the high cost of power on the island, also protesting against the power company's further attempts to increase rates. But Mullings says adjustments were necessary.
What we would have seen in our 2024 rate adjustment, for example, was definitely indicative of this, where our data and our statistics would have shown we would have lost a large representatives of our customer base, therefore increasing the need for a base rate adjustment.
As much as 10% of customers were lost since Hurricane Dorian in 2019. With projects like Carnival Celebration Key and others on top for the island, Mullings assures the company has the capacity to manage the additional load.
We do run demand and forecast models, and our forecast models do show that with the capacity we currently have, we still are able to withstand those projects that are coming online.
While the company had its challenges with load shedding last summer, Mullings says this time it's prepared.
So Grand Bahama Power is prepared in terms of contingencies, as we do have reserves and capacity to be able to serve in the event there are unforeseen circumstances outside of our control.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Thanks, Cleo. In other news, tragedy striking on the shorelines as police on Grand Bahama investigate the island's second drowning incident for the month. The incident prompting renewed calls from authorities for beachgoers to be vigilant and take water safety seriously as temperatures rise and more families head to the shorelines to beat the heat. Police on Grand Bahama are investigating the drowning death of a man in his early 60s. The incident taking place in the Lucaya area around 8 p.m. on Friday, April 16. According to police press liaison officer Superintendent Stephen Roll, security officers attached to a nearby resort discovered the man floating in waters adjacent to the property. CPR was administered and continued until emergency medical services arrived. However, despite their best efforts, the man was unresponsive.
Officers, along with security officers, at the Dundas Center, discovered that the dog deal, clad only in a red trunks, on the beaches, who appear to be unresponsive. EMS also attended that scene, and they would examine that male and found no signs of life. An autopsy was to be done to determine the exact cause of his death.
While police have not released the victim's official identity, unconfirmed reports suggest the man may be Tony Nesbitt, who was reportedly known to frequent the beach in that area.
The only information that is present at this time is that he is a regular person of peace on the beach, and he normally sells sauce drinks to the tourists. There was no trauma to the body. Like I said, once the autopsy has been done, we determine the exact cause of his death.
Now, this incident closely follows another tragic drowning in Grand Bahama this month, as earlier the community mourned the loss of Elvinson St. Lamar in 8 Mile Rock. With rising temperatures and more residents and visitors expected to head to the beach, authorities are once again urging the public to exercise caution near the water.
Be able to swim, and if you can't, put a life vest on, and for safety reasons. And for those boys who are going to swim by themselves, listen, that's not where you're going. Okay? And if you have to, we will recommend you swim with a group and not by yourself. Okay? Just avoid any further mishaps, if there will be any. In news from Abaco, police on that northern island are investigating an early morning home invasion that led to an alleged attempted sexual assault. According to police reports, shortly after 4 a.m. on Sunday, May 18th, a female resident of Central Pines was awakened by a man who had entered her home without permission. It is alleged that the intruder attempted to sexually assault the woman before fleeing the scene. A 20-year-old male suspect was later taken into custody and is now being questioned by police in connection with the incident. Police say investigations are ongoing. And in more news from Abaco, residents of Spring City are finally catching a breath, literally. After days of smoke-filled air due to brush fires, residents are now beginning to feel some relief. Silbert Mills providing an update on the situation, expressing relief that the worst is over, saying the community can finally breathe easier.
Since the wind shifted, spring season's cleared up. Once the winds are out of the direction pushing it into the community, that's when you have that issue. But now the wind shifted to another direction, and the community seems to be much better now. It didn't move to another settlement. It's just now where the wind is blowing out over is now going over the forest area. Whatever little is left.
Pastor Mills notes that residents in the area are showing signs of improvement as the smoke begins to clear. However, he warns that the effects of the smoke inhalation may have long-term impacts on the people living in these communities.
As far as I know, I was in Spring City, and a couple of my members from church were in Spring City, and I asked them about it yesterday. They said they're doing fine now. There's a couple of people that have their devices with them, and one of them was in church yesterday, saying to have no issue now. But anything with this would likely be long term.
And still to come.
Loved ones gathering to say their final goodbye to artist Neely. That story, sports, and more when the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, returns.
Hear that? If you listen closely, you can hear the heartbeat of a nation. That unique sound of a great country, pounding with colorful history, a rich culture, and unwavering ambition. When you look around, you recognize its pulse. The people who love to celebrate, who identify with triumph, a people who know how to be our brother's keeper. Commonwealth Bank, built by Bahamians, here for Bahamians, Bahamians helping Bahamians.
Come on down and see what Dolly Madison has in store for you. Renovate and rejuvenate at Dolly Madison.
The Church of God Grand Bahama District presents its 79th annual district convention under the theme Pursuing Righteous Living in Changing Time. It all takes place May 21st through the 25th, Wednesday through Friday, 7 p.m. nightly and 11 a.m. on Sunday at Central Church of God on Call Road. Speakers for this historic gathering will be Minister Lula Campbell, Minister Jennifer Barnaby, Bishop Barry B. Morris, Bishop Anthony Campbell, District Overseer, and Administrative Bishop Joseph A. Smith. It's the Church of God's 79th annual district convention. Come and unite in worship. Don't you miss it.
Looking for unbeatable tech deals? Foresight IT Professionals has desktops from $298, laptops from $238, POS systems from $498, CCTV systems from $298, tablets from $148, and more. Call 602-0946 or visit number 11 4-Way Co-op Plaza today.
Sunbelt Rental of the Bahamas is seeking a skilled diesel technician with expertise in diagnosing, repairing, and overhauling diesel engine. Interested persons can bring resume to the Ministry of Grand Bahama, Customer Service Department in the Harold de Gregory Building, or email bahamas@sunbeltrentals.com.
Here at Freeport Decorators, we have hundreds of products for you to choose from. Whether you're in the market for trophies, plaques, rubber stamps, corporate signs, any kind of interior signage, stamps, or seals, we're your one-stop shop. We feature glass, acrylic, crystal awards for every occasion. We build all the trophies here on site. Looking for a gift item? We feature pens, key rings, mugs, tumblers, barbecue tools, even bamboo cutting boards. Have something already? Bring it on down. Let us see if we can print that special something on it for you. Need a headstone? Memorialize the memory of your loved one with a beautifully lasered granite marker. Our store hours are Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. We focus on customization. So if you have an idea or a new concept, bring it on down or call us at 352-5557 or even WhatsApp your idea to us at 646-0777 and we will do our best to make your awards and recognition ideas a reality.
Your number one team in the North. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Welcome back. The West End community is mourning the loss of a man many call a legend. Artis Neely, a pillar of West Grand Bahama and a driving force behind the area's development. Neely was laid to rest on Saturday as family members, dignitaries, and friends gathered to pay tribute to his life and legacy. Our Shalia Rowe reports.
It was a sad day for the West End community as loved ones, government officials, and friends gathered at St. Mary's Anglican Church to celebrate the life of Artis Neely, a son of the soil, an entrepreneur, and a key member for the progressive cause in Grand Bahama.
There is no shadow.
Black drapes adorn the entryway to West End, a symbolic gesture marking the passing of a giant. Inside the church, sorrow etched on the faces of family members seated in the front rows, while dignitaries, party supporters, and residents gathered to reflect on the life of a man many called a legend. The late Artis Neely was hailed as a pillar of the Progressive Liberal Party and a fearless voice for the people of West Grand Bahama. Among those bringing remarks was Prime Minister the Right Honourable Philip Ray Davis, who highlighted Neely's unwavering commitment and invaluable contributions to the PLP over the years.
Artis just didn't work for the PLP. He lived it every day, quietly, faithfully, without ever asking for applause. He was a man of substance, strategy, and steel, a loyalist in the purest sense. One we all leaned on, especially when the winds were high and the path unclear.
Also paying tribute was former Prime Minister the Right Honourable Perry Christie, a close friend of Neely, who delivered a heartfelt reflection.
He invested in West End. He had this overriding belief and commitment that the glory days could be brought back.
Canon Lightbourne offered words of comfort and strength, urging the congregation to celebrate Neely's life while holding firm to faith in the midst of sorrow.
Anything else in all creation will be able to separate us from the love of God in Christ Jesus, our Lord.
May is Lupus Awareness Month. When the disease is active, also known as a lupus flare, patients may benefit from a tailored diet. The goal is to support overall health, reduce inflammation, and manage symptoms or medication side effects. Here are some general dietary considerations for people with lupus. 1. Eat an anti-inflammatory diet consisting of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds, and fish rich in omega-3 fatty acids like salmon, mackerel, and sardines, which can help reduce inflammation and support immune health. 2. Limit processed and sugary foods. 3. Eat calcium and vitamin D-rich foods like dairy products and leafy greens. 4. Monitor salt intake. And 5. Stay hydrated. Lupus affects everyone differently, so dietary adjustments should be personalized. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt, and remember, your greatest wealth is your health.
And that's a look at stories making news. Jay, what's coming up in sports?
Well, Raven, it is the track and field season, and some of our athletes from Northern Bahamas had some stellar performances at the college level.
All right, Bell Sports comes your way next, but first a check on the local weather forecast.
Tonight's weather forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
'Cause it's so beautiful.
Here at Island Bedding, we provide Bahamians a local option for factory direct quality sleep products. We have also expanded to include a range of furniture and home accessories. Check out our new living room pieces, including sectional, TV stands, accent tables, and more. Come on down to Island Bedding and feast your eyes on prices you have to see to believe. Located at number 5 Queens Highway, across from Caribbean Veterinarian.
Journey to a serene oasis. Relax. Rejuvenate. Renew. Welcome to Renew Day Spa. For appointments, call 352-RENU.
Don't miss the first annual Home and Hardware Expo, Saturday, June 7th at Pelican Bay from 2 to 6 p.m. Enjoy free exhibits, giveaways, and expert demos, plus an $150 short-term rental session at 3. Call 352-6126 for more details.
While others see customers as numbers, we see our customers as people, neighbors, friends who deserve more than one-sided connections. That's why we are redefining what real connection is by prioritizing our customers and showing our appreciation by putting our money where your loyalty is. PTC customers, claim your $200 Bahamas Air gift card when you add postpaid mobile to your internet plan. That's loyalty that flows both ways.
Good evening, ladies and gents. I'm Jay Philippe, and welcome to Sports. First in sports, it was championship game in the Northern Bahamas High School Soccer Championships between the local champions St. George's High and the visiting North Eleuthera High School. After an intense match, St. George's continued to show why they were the #1 team in the country, winning the title 6-2 to advance now to the BFA Sam Haven National Championships, set to take place in New Providence at the end of the month.
They come out there with confidence. They know what they got to do. They love soccer. They train every day. So they know when they come out and they give their all, they have a very good team, and it's hard to beat them.
We didn't come there like to lose at all. We come there to win. This is our island. We can't let nobody beat us in there. I'm excited for that. I'm excited, and I scored like 5 goals. I'm so happy for that. Yesterday, same thing. Yeah, we can keep going. We can keep working hard for that.
From the soccer field to the track, a number of athletes from the Northern Bahamas competed this weekend in their conference championships. Cassandra Thompson won 2 titles on the weekend for Jacksonville University in the 400 meters and 200 meters. It was her consecutive gold outdoor title in the 400 behind a time of 53.28 seconds. At the SEC Championships in Lexington, Kentucky, Morris Island product Quincy Penn, running out of lane 4, finished 4th in her heat of the 400 meters in 54.06 seconds for the University of Florida. Javonia Valcott, another Bahamian national athlete at the University of Tennessee, finished 2nd in the same race in 52.35 seconds. On the men's side, Zion Campbell ran a strong first leg in the 4x1 for the University of Minnesota men's relay team at the Big Ten Championships. His relay team set a new meet record of 38.54 seconds to win the conference title, breaking their own record that was set in 2023. Now, on the pro circuit, Terrence Jones set a new national record of 14.93 seconds in the men's 150-meter elite at the Adidas Atlanta City Games. The time of 14.93 seconds was good for a second-place finish for the Grand Bahamian Olympian. Ladies and gents, that's your quick check on sport. Your Facebook friend of the day is next. I'm Jay Philippe. As always, be blessed.
And I'm a survey enumerator with the Bahamas National Statistical Institute, or BNSI. For the next few months, we will be conducting the Household Expenditure Survey on various islands.
You might be wondering, why is this survey important? Well,
It helps us to determine the poverty line and assess how to ensure everyone has access to the basic services they need. This information is used by the government, businesses, researchers, and students to make informed decisions and plan for the future. We know that your time is valuable, which is why we've made the survey as simple and easy as possible. And don't worry, all your information you provide is confidential.
Your participation will help us gather accurate information that will benefit everyone in the Bahamas. Thank you for your cooperation and being a part of shaping the future of the Bahamas.
Your number one team in the north. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
And that concludes the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Raven Davis.
And I'm Jay Philippe.
Thank you so much for tuning in. A live look at the Bahamas Tonight is on your screen. They're coming your way next.
ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, hear why the government and the opposition are locking horns over last week's grand HOA signing. Also, infrastructural upgrades in the Big Yard. Find out what the $1 million investment means for South Androsians and who's tasked with getting the job done. And EMT personnel sound the alarm over a countrywide ambulance shortage. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report starts now. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. The political temperature is rising, and though the next general election is still some ways off, the Prime Minister is again sounding the call for the troops to get ready. In what some are calling the unofficial start of the governing party's campaign, the PM this weekend delivered a rather fiery speech, rallying his base while taking shots at the opposition. Devontae Hannah is live with the full rundown. Devontae?
Well, the Progressive Liberal Party's headquarters felt like a campaign launch more than just a regular men's branch meeting. Standing before an energized crowd, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis seemingly signaled the start of the governing party's aggressive bid for re-election.
Now is not the time to get comfortable. Now is the time to get battle ready.
Prime Minister, who was addressing the PLP's men's branch meeting on Sunday, also used the opportunity to take a jab at the opposition leader, Michael Pintard.
Michael Pintard wants to lead this country. But I have a simple question. A simple question. What real job has he ever had? If Pintard never had a real job, who's been paying his bills? Because if someone has always been paying his way, that means someone else has always been in charge. And if someone else is in charge of his life, how can we trust him to be in charge of this country?
And it didn't end there. Next came criticisms for the F&M's absence from last week's $827 million heads of agreement signing for the redevelopment of Grand Bahama's Grand Lucine Resort. And according to the Prime Minister, this despite being invited.
When the country makes progress, he goes silent or sneers.
Are you serious?
When it's time to support something good, he finds a way to stand in the way. Why? Because what's good for the Bahamas is bad for the F&M.
While the government has dismissed rumors of an early election, former Prime Minister Perry Christie made one thing clear: tough decisions hang in the balance for the party leader.
Decisions will have to be made on who will be candidates in the next general election. Some people will be in, some people will be out. But at the end of the process, our foundation must be as strong as it could possibly be.
Now, of course, for the PLP, locking down a second term means fighting from the front, with its performance in office speaking for itself. Prime Minister Davis is drawing clear lines between his leadership and the alternative. Back to you.
Well, thanks, Devontae. Now, opposition leader Michael Pintard today made his own swipe, charging that the Prime Minister is focused on the wrong things and that he ignores the questions that need answers.
Is the $120 million in the bank? Has the property been transferred to the developer? Is this deal connected in any way to the airport? Listen, I and we in the FNM support anything that helps Grand Bahamians get back on their feet. I hope this job that we're discussing finally gets done.
Well, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, the Honourable Chester Cooper, also firing back at FNM leader Pintard for firstly not attending last Thursday's ceremony for the signing of the heads of agreement for the Grand Lucayne Resort. Now, while Mr. Pintard has since gone on record to state that the FNM welcomes the development and is hopeful it will create an economic revitalization for Grand Bahama, as you just heard, he nonetheless wants clarification from the government and the developer about the terms of the agreement, timelines, and overall impact of the project. Mr. Cooper, during question and answer period with reporters in Exuma this afternoon, called the FNM enemies of progress.
It is regrettable that some who wish to be leaders of our country don't appreciate the progress the way the people seem to be inspired by it. This is an exciting time for the island of Grand Bahama. No doubt the Prime Minister will provide further details in the House over the coming days and weeks. But the reality is, you know, we're making progress. We're supportive of the progress we're seeing in Grand Bahama.
Well, we can also tell you tonight the promise of jobs and infrastructure as Grand Bahama's rebirth takes shape. Devontae Hanna today sat down with the Director of Investments to get a closer look at what this deal really means.
The $827 million redevelopment of the Grand Lucayne Resort is said to be a turning point for Grand Bahama, according to Director of Investments Felicia Woods-Hanna. And this, as she says, the real work on the property is set to begin within the next 30 to 60 days.
And so they're in the process of fine-tuning those plans. And once that happens, right away, we should see jobs for Bahamians.
Over 3,000 jobs, according to Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis. The end result of negotiations that Woods-Hanna tells us started with Concord, Wilshire, back on December 1st, 2023. And after a year and a half, the government came forward with a deal it believes is beneficial to both parties.
There are no concessions that were offered to the developer that is not available for Bahamian developers and foreign direct investors alike.
The developer has committed to building a cruise port, 3 hotel towers, a mega yacht marina, water park, and a George Norman designed golf course. The completion date, though, is fluid.
They did provide a timeline for the 3 phases of the project and the demolition. However, of course, this is a process that goes through a number of government agencies, and so the technocrats have to now review it, and then those timelines may change.
The announcement follows opposition leader Michael Pintard calling for the full details of the heads of agreement to be revealed. While noting his concern, Woods-Hanna says that has never been the case with other agreements. She did make clear that the deal allows for Bahamian economic empowerment.
They would have unveiled plans for retail opportunities. That's why the straw vendors, the taxi cab drivers are all excited. So there are a number of different areas pursuant to the national investment policy that are reserved for Bahamians, will remain reserved for Bahamians.
The government has assured that safeguards are in place to protect national interests and to hold the developers accountable. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Devontae Hanna.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
If you listen closely, you can hear the heartbeat of a nation. That unique sound of a great country, pounding with colorful history, a rich culture, and unwavering ambition. When you look around, you recognize its pulse. The people who love to celebrate, who identify with triumph, a people who know how to be our brother's keeper. Commonwealth Bank, built by Bahamians, here for Bahamians, Bahamians helping Bahamians.
While others see customers as numbers, we see our customers as people, neighbors, friends who deserve more than one-sided connections. That's why we are redefining what real connection is by prioritizing our customers and showing our appreciation by putting our money where your loyalty is. BTC customers, claim your $200 Bahamas Air gift card when you add postpaid mobile to your internet plan. That's loyalty that flows both ways.
KFC is giving you more to love with our KFC Bucket Meals with large size. Get the KFC Family Bucket featuring 8 pieces of juicy chicken, family fries, and 4 biscuits that feeds 4. A KFC Deluxe Bucket with 10 pieces of delicious chicken, 2 larger sides, and 4 biscuits that feeds 4 to 6. Or a KFC Party Bucket with 15 pieces of our chicken, 3 larger sides, and 6 biscuits that feeds 6. And we'll handle the dishes, plates, and utensils included, so you can lick your fingers and reach. KFC knows value, and it's finger licking good.
As a professional graphic artist, I work from anywhere in the world. When I travel, I try to keep up with my paperwork and bills as much as possible, utilizing NIB's ESS, or Employee Self-Service Portal, to submit my monthly payment and to upload my contribution statement makes life easier. The portal is pretty easy to use too. I consider it to be user-friendly. It asks all the necessary questions to guide me through uploading my contribution statement, and I like that it calculates my payments. The NIB representative who showed me how to use the portal, she was patient, friendly, and knowledgeable. I used to fill out my contribution statement manually and visit an NIB office every month to make payments. But now the ESS portal allows for the entire process to be completed online in a time-efficient manner. Like, yay, thank you, that's done. You should sign up today at ess@nib-bahamas.com.
Why did we decide to put together our country's first nationwide comprehensive energy reforms? We knew that there were no easy answers. BPL was more than $500 million in debt when we came in, operating a failed electricity grid with key components on the verge of collapse. A grid incapable of transmitting solar energy. Changing all of this is a huge project, one that is finally underway. The sky-high bills, the chronic power outages, they've hurt Bahamian families and Bahamian businesses. We are going to leave all of that in the past. We are taking it all on, and transforming energy is going to transform our economy. Go online now to learn more.
Portion of the news is brought to you by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, where safety is first.
Well, tonight we bring you a shot from atop the Atlantis Resort on Paradise Island with the Bahamian flag flying high. Welcome back. That compendium of financial bills passed in the lower chamber last week. The focus of debate in the upper chamber today. The proposed pieces of legislation seek to ensure the financial services sector retains its competitive edge and remains a well-regulated international financial center. Leading off today's debate, Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, Senator the Honorable Ryan Pinder, who noted that the financial services sector contributes significantly to the middle and upper class in the country, employing largely professional Bahamian women.
We are one of the most, if not the most attractive trust jurisdictions in the entire world. The entire world. And now that Brazil has recognized in law the concept of a trust, validating the treatment in Brazil, we are a natural fit for growth and business opportunities. We will go to Brazil, This year, we will go to Brazil to highlight this, but also to highlight our legislative changes to the ICON, our legislative changes allowing demerger, and our new legislative changes to the Segregated Account Company Act.
And speaking of legislative moves, the Ministry of Labor's Legislation Forum today welcomed collaborative discussions on a wealth of pressing labor matters. Our Danielle Dean has all the details in this next report.
By law, fathers in the Bahamas are granted 1 week of unpaid family leave following the birth of a child after being employed for at least 6 months. Apparently, this issue isn't sitting well with many residents. Labor and Public Service Minister, the Honourable Pia Glover-Roll, and Labor Director Howard Thompson both agree the role fathers play in the lives of their children are pivotal and deserve more attention.
Some businesses in the country already engage paternity leave. In fact, one of our industrial agreements signed recently has the provision for paternity leave. But the extension of maternity leave using benchmarks from international standards, the Breastfeeding Association in particular, where we realize that a mother needs more time in the formative infancy stage of a child to bond.
It's equally important as a mother having maternity leave so she can bond and be closer to her child after birth. And I think the fathers should get that same sort of experience. So I think that's a step in the right way.
That was just one labor issue addressed at Monday's labor stakeholders meeting on Gladstone Road. The Norman's Key debacle involving reports of disgruntled workers who told of an unsuitable working environment allegedly characterized by these components were laid out by the labor director.
You have complaints of breaches of the Employment Act, not being paid on time, mold infestation, poor living conditions, you name it, it runs the gamut down there in Norman's Key. And it's unfortunate that, as I said, such a beautiful island is experiencing this sort of upheaval amongst the workers down there. But let me hasten to say that these are, at the moment, just allegations. And so those allegations and complaints from anonymous complainants would have really escalated over the past 3 to 4 months. And particularly when we saw one of the HR heads would have either resigned or been terminated, that's a clear signal that something is definitely not right on the island.
The director says the department is working tirelessly to address allegations, and any claims concretized will be resolved with haste. Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle Dean.
Well, on a more positive note, better water pressure and more consistent water and sewage services in the pipeline for South Androsians now that the money and the contractors have been locked in. Felicity Darville tells us more.
The Water and Sewage Corporation signed a $1.04 million contract with Apex Pavers on Monday to construct a new transmission water main linking the corporation's reverse osmosis plant in Kemps Bay and the well field in the Bluff, South Andros. The project includes the installation of some 13,000 feet of 4-inch water mains. Apex President Willie Simmons.
At Apex Pavers, we take great pride in being a Bahamian company committed to building with integrity, precision, and care. We understand the responsibility that comes with public infrastructure, especially when it comes to something like as vital as water. So we are not just there to put pipe in the ground. It is about improving the quality of life and strengthening the community system.
Water and Sewage Manager Robert Deal says the corporation is on a mission.
The reality is that these works that are being executed across the Bahamas, whether it be in South Andros, additional works planned for North Andros, works that are ongoing, Bimini, Abaco, quite a bit of works in the Keys, across Eleuthera, Exuma, Aucklands, all across the Bahamas. These are really about dignity and basically about improving the quality of life for our Bahamian citizens across the Bahamas.
It's an important day for the Honorable Leon Lundy, Minister of State with responsibility for the Water and Sewage Corporation, as these much-needed waterworks will improve the lives of his constituents.
And this will actually shore up the amount of water that we're receiving down in the southern end of South Andros. So definitely this will be impactful right away. I can tell you the residents, sometimes they have to have disruptions that occur between 10 and 5 o'clock in the morning. So definitely this will be a major impact right away that'll be felt right away for all the residents.
This water project is expected to be completed in about 160 days, after which roadworks will continue. Executives say that all of the technological and procedural changes that are happening here at the Water and Sewage Corporation are for the benefit of the clients all throughout the Bahamas, and in this case, especially in the Big Yard, and specifically those in Central and South Andros. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Felicity Darville.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Folk Call Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home health care supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Are you straight? Bro, I ain't getting no service. I can't make no calls. I can't post nothing on my stories. I don't get it.
Wait, you on the live? Shad, come, let's fix that. Come. This one needs saving. Pour them over, please.
Say less. Sign up today. Enjoy 5 gigs on us with select prepaid plans when you port your number to Alive, or 3 months free Alive fiber services when you port your landline.
Hi, I'm Melissa, and I'm a survey enumerator with the Bahamas National Statistical Institute, or BNSI. For the next few months, we will be conducting the Household Expenditure Survey on various islands.
You might be wondering, why is this survey important? Well, it helps us to determine the poverty line and assess how to ensure everyone has access to the basic services they need. This information is used by the government, businesses, researchers, and students to make informed decisions and plan for the future. We know that your time is valuable, which is why we've made the survey as simple and easy as possible. And don't worry, all your information you provide is confidential.
Your participation will help us gather accurate information that will benefit everyone in the Bahamas. Thank you for your cooperation and being a part of shaping the future of the Bahamas.
How do ideas become plans? Plans become memories.
So you like my new room?
And dreams become your life.
This is retirement.
Do you remember when hope became a house? When that house became a home? Your ideas are everything, and we're here to help make them happen. Your idea of yes, I can happens here.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station. Open the app, scan the pump's QR code. Select your payment amount and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
This portion of the news is brought to you by 700 Wines and Spirits, bringing celebration across the nation.
Well, it's not a new problem, but one emergency medical technicians are hoping is resolved. After all, the whole issue of insufficient ambulances can mean all the difference between life and death. Danielle Dean has this report.
Emergency service technicians or ambulance operators are growing wary of drivers that do not respect the siren. Deputy Director of National Emergency Medical Services with the PHA, Kevin Bell, is one of them.
It's an everyday issue. In some cases, the person's ignorant and would not move. But in most cases, we're finding with the newer model vehicles, they're soundproof. And then if you add music in those vehicles, it becomes very difficult to hear the siren.
The concern's certainly not a new one, but one he hopes is resolved much sooner than later.
We are in the business of saving lives, and as was mentioned before, every second counts. So the time you take to hinder our passage, that's someone's life that we're being hindered from saving.
And as if that's not already enough, there's also the far more serious issue of a shortage of ambulances.
And so production lines have slowed down a lot. We also have a challenge now with some of the the makers, the builders, whether it be Ford or some other builder, them not wanting to ship, to certain parts of the world, and that's creating a challenge. And then, too, when we do find vehicles, we're competing with bigger companies, where we might need 10 or 15, they're going for 100, and so automatically those persons would get before us.
Last year, EMS personnel disapproved of a new fleet of 10 ambulances, arguing that their size made them ineffective. The government has since promised new ambulances to ensure the medical needs of Bahamians are not neglected. Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle Dean.
Well, we're going to toss it over now to LaDawn and Marlena, who join us live for a sneak peek of what's coming up in Access Now.
Well, Crystal, the Dundas is actually having some major renovations, and guess what? We have Philip Burrows in the house. He's going to be talking all about those renovations. Isn't that right, Marlena?
Oh, yes, very excited. I was just there a couple of weeks ago at the Black Box Theater for one of their plays. I think it was Arsenic and Old Lace. So good. They need to be in their main space again. Can't wait to see it happen.
Oh, it's so good that things are coming together for the Dundas. But stay with us. The National Report is back after the break.
Diet-friendly special.
Only one item? Are you tired of limited choices? I'll have the one item on the menu, thank you. Wow! So many choices. Why settle for less when you deserve more? When it comes to the ways you pay, the more, the better. With a variety of payment options available, you can enjoy the freedom to choose what works best for you. Choose freedom. Choose flexibility. Choose from the full menu of payment options. The future of pay is digital.
Measles is on the rise around the world, and the Bahamas is at risk.
Which makes us very vulnerable as a nation for the possible outbreak of measles cases.
Every Saturday in May from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., the Ministry of Health and Wellness will host MMR immunization visits in South Beach, Coconut Grove, Fox Hill, and Elizabeth Estates. Clinics in these areas will remain open until 8 p.m. twice per week. Get your child immunized now.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
Man, this ain't making no sense, man. How people making it out there, Dre?
If you want to stop living paycheck to paycheck, you gotta learn how to budget. First, write down all of your income. Then, list out all of your expenses. And don't forget to save. Stop throwing away money. Put something aside for savings. And get this, government savings bonds can safely grow your money. So start budgeting, save your coins, and invest smart. Financial independence, wait. Financial independence, wait. Learn how to invest in government savings bonds on the Central Bank of the Bahamas website.
What you doing, man?
I'm getting ready for this heat, boy. But you want to see what's in this box? The ghost pepper chicken sandwich, boy. Get an apple pie, fries, and ghost pepper chicken wing. See? You look at me? Four. Yeah, boy.
Try our new ghost pepper chicken box today. Available for a limited time only.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Well, it's exactly 52 days before the Bahamas celebrates its 52nd independence. And this year, the theme's Together We Rise, a powerful call to love and unity. The official logo has also been released, designed in the vibrant colors of the Bahamian flag. In numerology, 5 symbolizes change and forward movement, while 2 represents balance and partnership. The bold black border serves as a proud reminder of the strength and resilience resilience of the Bahamian people. Oh, that does it for the National Report, but stay close. The Bahamas Tonight continues with Access Now.
We're all in this boat together. It takes a team to do it. It doesn't take one person or 3 people, 5 people. It takes a team of people to pull this thing off.
We have about 72 employees in Freeport, and the rest are in Nassau, Abaco, and Eleuthera, a total of over 165.
A lot of people are not aware that Sans is brewed here in the Bahamas. It's made, it's produced here in Grand Bahama Island after Dorian, and especially during the pandemic. Every time I saw a bottle of beer, every time I saw a Sans product, it represented resilience.
The only thing I can say to the Bahamian people is to support your own.
All of us are in this boat together, our staff, the country, everyone. And we've been through a lot of rough patches, taking on water, bail the water out, and now it's time to be sailing forward. And we need everyone's support to make that happen.
Tourism today. Bahamas tourism today.
At this year's Junior Minister of Tourism speech competition, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, declared the winners who will represent the next generation of Bahamian tourism.
So you have an obligation as young people to do better than this generation did. You have an obligation as junior ministers of tourism for your respective island to ensure that your peers understand the significance of what it is that you do. They understand that we have a country riding on our shoulders. So when we talk about being hospitable, it's not just a nice thing to do. It's really about the preservation of the quality of life that we have been able to enjoy over the many, many decades. I am particularly pleased to announce the winners of this year's Junior Minister of Tourism competition. In 3rd place from New Providence, Brazil Roche. And in 2nd place from Crooked Island, Malik Campbell. In 1st place from Grand Bahama Island, Zaria Ingram.
First place winner, Zaria Ingram, shared with us what she hopes to accomplish as the new Junior Minister of Tourism.
As Junior Minister, I, number one, want to represent the Bahamas, especially in the Caribbean tourism competition. I also want to represent my island. I want to be able to push my ideas into the Bahamas because I feel like I have a lot of good ideas to share. So I want to bring a young perspective to the tourism of the Bahamas. I feel like that'll definitely positively impact us.
For more tourism updates, visit Tourism Today or Bahamas.com. I'm Michael Miller, and this is Tourism Today.
Emergency Medical Services Week takes off in grand style. Let's hear from those involved.
And buenas noches from Cuba, as Felicity Darville gives us some more historic facts about that island.
Plus, the Shriners have donated their time, talent, and treasure to the Elizabeth Estates Children's Home. Those details are on the way.
And coming up in sports, John Quell Jones and the Liberty win the season opener.
Tonight, Access Now starts now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis.
And I'm Marlena Leonard. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, Access Now.
Looking forward to a productive week, Marlena.
So am I, LaDawn. You know, in fact, I can't wait for Friday. I've been sworn to secrecy, but I can say this much, we're going to have an exciting night.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to that, Marlena. Sounds mysterious. While we wait on Friday, let's dive right into the news, shall we? Emergency Medical Services Week kicked off on Sunday, May 18th with a service at Living Waters Kingdom Ministries, and up until Saturday, the 24th of May, the festivities will continue. These emergency medical technicians tell us what to expect and how we can participate. Here's Danielle Dean.
Chairman of this year's Emergency Medical Services Committee, Adrian Archer, sees it a privilege to play a role in saving lives and is excited to watch the week's activities continue to unfold as the medical professionals receive well-deserved honors.
I love my job. I love what I do. I always tell people that
when God put me in this field, he knew what he was doing, because I had no idea of, what this field was about, but I got into it by volunteer, and I saw it, and I said, hey, why not educate myself in the field? But I love what I do. I love going out there, saving people's life, making sure that they could see their family and next thing.
Denisha McPhee recalls obtaining her EMT certification in the thick of COVID-19, describing it as a challenging yet fulfilling time.
Honestly, I loved it because it was sad for the death and stuff, but as far as the experience, you really got to put your skills to use, and I was able to become well-rounded during that time. Yeah, it made me stronger as an EMT.
The group made their rounds to various media houses Monday in an effort to inform the public on the content and importance of their jobs and to announce the week's remaining planned events.
Tuesday, we go to various schools to educate the students on CPR and what to do when you do call 911 or different agencies. Also, that Wednesday, we go to different homes. The old folks' home, where folks may need a haircut. We also serve breakfast that day. And just hang along with them and help out as best as we could. And that Thursday, we're going to be downtown at Russian Square demonstrating CPR. So everybody come, get up and ready to pump on some chests on that Thursday, because we're going to teach you some CPR. So come, let's do this. So that Friday, we're going to have a float parade. It deserves a float parade. Just a day where we could just relax a little bit and just have a little bit of fun. We're going to have a nice grill and chill, a little competition that day amongst each company, to have some fun. And that's Saturday. That's the day everybody's looking for, because, everybody looking to see if I'm going to get an award. So Saturday is the awards night.
The award ceremony will take place in the Paul Farquharson Conference Center at the police headquarters on East Street. Reporting for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Danielle Dean.
Thanks, Danielle. Well, buenos dias. The Fit Cuba 2025 International Tourism Fair brought together hundreds of travel agents, executives, and officials from around the world, not only to network, but to tour Cuba. Our Felicity Darville and Utah Taylor Roll toured with our Bahamian travel experts and shared this experience.
With one of the safest harbors in this side of the world, the city of Havana comes alive with a rich history and a mix of old and new world cultures, and so much to explore. Our first tour began at the ancient Moro Castle and San Carlos de la Cabana Fortress for the official opening of Fit Cuba 2025. Our trusted tour guide, Abel Contreras, tells us about this historic site.
We are right now in San Carlos de la Cabana Fortress, which is the largest fortress built in this part of the world by the Spaniards, and it's one of the main symbols of Havana City, and this is used for a lot of the important cultural events in Cuba. Like right now we're here at the Tourism Fair of Havana, which is the most important place for business in the country every year.
We took off in vintage cars featuring jewels of motoring from the past that travel throughout the city. We took a panoramic tour along Havana Malecon toward modern Havana, and we stopped at Revolution Square.
May Day parades, army celebrations, war peace concerts about 15 years ago, the long speeches of the leaders of the revolution, the long speeches of Fidel Castro, Hugo Guinness, the farewell of the people of Havana to Fidel Castro when he passed away 80 years ago, the three masses of the three popes that have been to Havana had taken place here. So you can imagine that this is, for obvious reasons, political and administrative center of Cuba.
It's an ode to greats like Jose Marti Perez, a nationalist, poet, essayist, journalist, and professor who is considered a Cuban national hero because of his role in the liberation of his country from Spain. The Cuban people are very proud of their independence. It wasn't handed to them. It was a hard-won fight with revolutionaries like the one pictured behind me, Che Guevara. From Revolution Square in Havana, Cuba, for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Felicity Darville.
Thanks a lot, Felicity. Well, smiles, laughter, and excitement fill the grounds of the Elizabeth Estates Children's Home this weekend as a vibrant team from the United States-based organization Shriner arrived bearing donations. But it wasn't just about the donations. It was about the time, joy, and genuine connection they brought.
So the plan is to have a collaboration with the home here in the Bahamas, with the United States and all the states around our conclave, so that we can work together and just be an entity with them to know that we're going to be here and we're going to always be here to do something for them in the future. And we have donated over 1,000 pieces. We also are going to donate to the PMH facility and then the Children's Hospital. We have another 1,500 items that we are donating to them, and our local potentate and our local commanders will do those donations when we leave.
When asked what's next for the partnership between Shriner and the Children's Home, Burns shared a hopeful future.
We want them to know that we came for them, we're here for them. Our local community, our local DOI, and our local potentate for the Shriners will always be in communication with them, and they'll be in communication with us, so we're not here to drop off and leave them. We're going to have a lasting impression, and we want them to know we're here for them.
The visit ended with music, dancing, and plenty of hugs, marking the beginning of a beautiful and lasting bond rooted in kindness, consistency, and care.
It seems like that was the theme of the weekend, because it was all smiles and surprises as BTC hosted its customer loyalty give back this past weekend for its Anglerston members at the Mall of Marathon. The event featuring games, food, and deals, all in an effort to give back to its loyal customers and encouraged a greater partnership between both parties. Product manager for BTC, Craig Eldon, says that this is one of many initiatives being organized by BTC to ensure customer participation across the country.
The first one that we went to was in Coral Harbor. Then we went into the Chippingham area. We're now here at the mall parking lot, which is focused on the Robinson Road, Anglerston area today. And the next one that's going to be coming up within a month will be on the other side of the island. So stay tuned for the next event next month.
And while the focus appears to be on the capital, Eldon says that similar events are scheduled to take place throughout the Family Islands.
I know for a fact that we will be doing one just like this in Grand Bahama. And then there are also some very specific events that are about to take place in the coming months geared towards Bimini and Eleuthera, with the hope and aspiration that we will take that from Bimini and Eleuthera onward to the other Family Islands later on in the year. But stay tuned for some activities that are happening in Bimini and Eleuthera within the next couple months.
And still to come, the dynamic Philip Burrows joins us tonight to talk about the Dundas Theater for the Performing Arts. Can't wait. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Melissa, and I'm a survey enumerator with the Bahamas National Statistical Institute, or BNSI. For the next few months, we will be conducting the Household Expenditure Survey on various islands.
You might be wondering, why is this survey important? Well, it helps us to determine the poverty line and assess how to ensure everyone has access to the basic services they need. This information is used by the government, businesses, researchers, and students to make informed decisions and plan for the future. We know that your time is valuable, which is why we've made the survey as simple and easy as possible. And don't worry, all your information you provide is confidential.
Your participation will help us gather accurate information that will benefit everyone in the Bahamas. Thank you for your cooperation and being a part of shaping the future of the Bahamas.
Measles is on the rise around the world, and the Bahamas is at risk,
which makes us very vulnerable as a nation for the possible outbreak of measles cases.
Every Saturday in May from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., the Ministry of Health and Wellness will host MMR immunization visits in South Beach, Coconut Grove, Fox Hill, and Elizabeth Estates. Clinics in these areas will remain open until 8 p.m. twice per week. Get your child immunized now.
How do ideas become plans? Plans become memories.
So you like my new room?
And dreams become your life.
This is retirement.
Do you remember when hope became a house? When that house became a home? Your ideas are everything, and we're here to help make them happen. Your idea of yes, I can happens here.
Looking at a live shot of Long Wharf Beach captured by our drone pilot, Destiny Reed. Nice shot there, Destiny. Well, let's take a flight down to Mangrove Key, Andros. Let's go.
Beats and Bahamian pride, Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis dropped anchor at the Mangrove Key Regatta and Homecoming, calling it an excellent initiative to unite Bahamians.
Just look around and see the activity, the Bahamians who are here gathered, not only from Mangrove Key, we have those who would have left and come back home, and we have persons from other islands just here congregating. What it does is it then brings people together, get the opportunity for other islands to experience the culture of Mangrove Key, for those persons from other islands to get to know the nuances of the idiosyncrasies of the people of Mangrove Key. And so that's a wonderful thing. It just continues to mesh what I call the Bahamian spirit. It continues to have that melting pot of what we are and who we want to be.
Amazing. We always love a regatta. Well, good news, too, for the Dundas. Today there was a rubble, but superstar, actor, and artistic director of Ring Play Productions and Shakespeare in Paradise, Philip Burrows, joins us tonight, and we're going to talk all about it. Philip, welcome to Access Now.
Thank you.
You and your wife, Nicolette Bethel, who serves as president of Shakespeare in Paradise and chair of the Dundas Center for Performing Arts, you've invested a lot of time into the Dundas with your teams. Can you tell us about the Black Box Theater?
Well, the Black Box, 2014, we started that space, not knowing that it was going to be the only place that was going to be operational for the past few years. Not to sound, however, but it's actually called the Philip A. Burrows Black Box Theater. And yeah, we started it in 2014, and when the pandemic hit, we were closed for about 18 months. Mm-hmm. We were operating both theaters. The other theater is called the Winston V. Saunders Theater, after Chairman Winston Saunders, who was chairman for 25 years. And we came back, and the air-conditioned system that had been in for many, many years had totally died.
Oh, my.
And so we can't operate without that. And we got estimates for it, and it was like $150,000.
Oh, my goodness.
So we decided to go fundraise, but in the meantime, we still had theater to do. And so the past few years, everything that's been done, theater-wise, in the Dundas has been done in the Black Box space. We actually did 13 plays back-to-back, one play a month for 13 months to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Bahamian independence. Mm-hmm. So it's been busy, busy, and we've just closed. We closed last weekend.
Yes, tell us what happened
Arsenic
today.
and Olace, which you saw. Mm-hmm. And yeah, very successful season. Started with a play called Night Mother. We moved on to 12 Angry Jurors. We moved on to Witness for the Prosecution. And as I say, we closed with Arsenic and Olace. And it was a very, very successful season, very artistically, and people not being able to get tickets at the end of the day.
There wasn't a seat left in the house when I went to go see Arsenic and Olace.
So,
now, can you tell us what happened today? Because we know it really started the work.
We've been doing renovations for the past few weeks. Over at the main theater, but we had to wait until Arsenic and Olace closed before we could start anything. And today, we were pretty much demolishing the Philip A. Burrows Black Box Theater. So taking down the walls, basically rebuilding the whole space. It's about 10 years old. We built it in 2014, and so a little over 10 years, and termites and all other sorts of things, you know. So we decided we told the contractor, you have 1 month.
Right.
Because within a month's period, we opened workshops sponsored by UNESCO.
Right.
And so we have to have everything done in that period of time.
And then in a nutshell, can you just tell us, I know the government has come on board to help with renovations, and then really quick, what that plan is to get us back on our
the renovations are for the entire property. The government, we are so grateful to the government for the investment of having us to be able to bring the theater back. And so we have the Winston Saunders Theater, we have the Black Box, we have so many things, and you discover things as you go along. You know, there was a tree that fell on the roof, and the roof had to be repaired. And then you get up there and you start repairing the roof, and you realize there's more of the roof to be repaired. So the funds are there. They're not going to do everything that we need to do. We're still raising money.
But it's a great start.
But it's absolutely a wonderful start.
Well, amazing. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Philip, and I hope we can see you again soon for some updates. I can't wait to see you show in there again. But as for us, let's check in with sports to see what's on tap.
And it was ring night for John Paul Jones and the New York Liberty. Details of that story and more coming up in sports.
Health is the greatest gift. That's where we come in. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies is a premier distributor of medical equipment, as well as medical and surgical consumables. Our engineers are always on hand, providing top care service that saves lives. We carry a wide selection of over-the-counter and prescription items, IV fluids, and other injections. Our products are state-of-the-art, and our entire team stays on top of cutting-edge technology. With more than 2 decades of dedicated service, Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies continues to be a trendsetter and innovator in healthcare. We have set ourselves apart by truly caring for our customers. We understand the intricacies of healthcare, and we produce spectacular results. We cherish our partnerships and nurture our friendships as we continue on our quest to help everyone maintain that wonderful gift of good health. Find us on 95th Terrace, Centerville, and now located in the Lucaya Shopping Center of Freeport, Grand Bahama.
For us at the Myers Group of restaurants, we found that we have a pretty large portion of our employment pool that had difficulty getting bank accounts.
The issue we had previously was just getting cash, getting funds on the island. And with only one working ATM, the idea of the sand dollar just in being digital, and everybody has a smartphone nowadays. It actually works into our favor.
The sand dollar was like a godsend because it allowed us to add it to our payroll system, which means we're able to send their money to the sand dollar wallet.
It's still a bank transfer because you get an account number. So from the employer side of things, all I have to do is send your funds just as usual.
It opens up our pool for us to be able to hire some of the people that we couldn't hire before because they were unable to open bank accounts. This has been a really good solution.
While others see customers as numbers, we see our customers as people, neighbors, friends who deserve more than one-sided connections. That's why we are redefining what real connection is by prioritizing our customers and showing our appreciation by putting our money where your loyalty is. ATC customers, claim your $200 Bahamas Air gift card when you add postpaid mobile to your internet plan. That's loyalty that flows both ways.
For hurricane season, we got impact windows and doors. For protection, just come to our store. Plus we got tiles to pretty up your walls and your floors. We'll help you brighten up for that big bad storm. Porcelain tiles, blank tiles, mosaic tiles, a variety of styles. Before teens get right, they gotta be rough. That's why we got the best deals in the whole Bahamas. Hey, hey.
What? You don't know what TDC is? Tourism Development Corporation? You mean the Ministry of Tourism? No, that ain't the same thing, but the Tourism Development Corporation helps develop and grow Bahamian businesses in the tourism industry. You heard what I say, boy? Oh, yeah. Develop and grow. You don't know what all the things saying do? What does do?
Hey, check the website one. Start your journey to ownership of our #1 industry today. Log on to tdcbahamas.com.
Welcome to your Monday Sports Check, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports. A great start to the WNBA season for Bahamian professional player Jonquel Jones and the defending champions, the New York Liberty, as the team hung its first championship banner in the rafters and presented players with their WNBA championship rings. This before a 92-78 victory over the Las Vegas Aces at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn over the weekend. Jones, of course, the 2024 WNBA Finals MVP, was special in the team's opener. She powered her way to 17 points, a team-high 10 rebounds, added 6 assists and 8 blocks in 30 minutes of play. Still in hoops, last week we heard from her new teammate Rema Collins, but Danica Lightbourne is just as eager to suit up in a new uniform with the Florida International University women's basketball team. This after transferring from Dayton. The Bahamian duo came out of the transfer portal and have decided to join forces with the Panthers and coach Jessica Burks-Wiley for the 2025-2026 season. Danica on YFIU.
I'd say they mainly showed me a great environment, showing how they have great family involvement and the expectation they have for me coming in and their plan on their development plan for me. So that was mainly my biggest thing.
Lightbourne also speaking about the dynamic between her and her new Bahamian teammate.
Play alongside Rima, I feel like it's going to be fun. I mean, we didn't know each other a little bit beforehand, but to build chemistry now and just be together, build more of a friendship, that'll be enjoyable.
And that's what look at your sports on this Monday. A check on weather when we return.
Candid Security offer a varied range of security services, including guard service. We do armored service, we do pre-employment investigation, background checks, also vet people for employment. A live business hosted PBX is extremely important to our operation. I don't have to be in my office. I can easily get connected with our clients, my vendors, my NASA office, and with our employees in the field, anytime, anywhere.
Get the most out every ride. Just watch your car perform with the best fuel inside. Fuel up with confidence in every mile. Get Ruby Surge Tech in your tank and drive with a smile. Watch your car perform with the best fuel inside. Fuel the difference with Ruby's Ultra Tech.
Come and visit us at Shop Smart, 'cause everything is here.
Yes, we have it all for you. Toys, clothing, office supplies, appliances, custom cut blinds, bedding, drapes, and rugs. Come and visit us on Mackey Street, 2 blocks down from Wolf Road. Call us at 698-1052.
Shop Smart, let's Shop Smart. Oh, everything is here.
Measles is on the rise around the world, and the Coconut Grove, Fox Hill, and Elizabeth Estates clinics in these areas will remain open until 8 p.m. twice per week. Get your child immunized now.
Good evening. It's time now for your Access Weather Forecast. And LaDawn and Melina, I know you're complaining about the heat, but you have to get used to it. And the reason being, we're now in the middle of May, heading towards the start of the hurricane season. But we do have a front boundary to the north of us. Yes, it's moving towards the south and east. And let me be quick to let you know, it's not going to get here. Grand Bahama, Abaco, they perhaps will get some showers out of the system over the next couple of days, as it will stall to the north of us, leaving behind high pressure to control our weather, which will maintain the muggy conditions for the next several days. It's time now for your boating forecast, and that is brought to you by Live Business, where we simply bulk up your business. In the northwestern central islands tonight, southeasterly flow 10 to 15 knots, and that's from a warm source region. Wave heights 2 to 4 feet. High tide will take place at 7:29 tonight. And for the southeast Bahamas, you're going to have that easterly flow at 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. And as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday of this week, you're going to have a south to southwest flow, and that's not too good, LaDawn. That is bringing in that moist air and very warm air from the Gulf of Mexico, and that will make things very, very muggy over the next couple of days. But for boating-wise, the seas are going to be pretty nice, 2 to 4 feet. Low tide will take place at 8:24 in the morning, with your high tide at 2:27 in the afternoon. Now, for the central and southeastern islands, Tuesday and Wednesday, look for lighter variable winds with very flat sea conditions, so beautiful boating conditions for the next several days. And that's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they're brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
Kiss my mama goodbye. Going back to the island, I say, don't worry, mama, don't cry.
On the Alice boat, I sure hope that she's still able. So this evening around 5 o'clock, I'll stand up.
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But join me at 11 o'clock for a full weather update. LaDawn and Melina.
Thanks a lot, Basil. Well, Melina, you wanted the hot weather, and here it comes.
Yo, everyone is ganging up on me tonight. I asked for one good beach day. I cannot control the weather, but the temperatures are on the rise. And so is Let's Talk Socials with Armatea Cunningham.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Let's Talk Socials. You already know it's your favorite segment where we dive into what's trending on social media and highlight some of the most creative people online. Now today we're giving some sweet sugary spotlights to a young Bahamian baker who's absolutely owning her lane on social media. Her name is Brene. She's 20 years old. She's from right here in the Bahamas, and she's built a community of over 16,000 followers who are obsessed with her baking content. And trust me, once you see it, you'll understand why. From cakes and cupcakes to full-on custom treats, Brene brings personality, color, and straight-up talent to every video she posts. Her page is the perfect mix of business and joy. You'll come for the sweets, but you'll stay for her vibe. Whether she's trying a new flavor, showing off a cake reveal, or just vibing in the kitchen, her energy is consistent and so inspiring to other young creatives in the Bahamas. Check her out.
Hey dolls, spend a day with me as a 20-year-old baker, Mother's Day edition. So today I had 11 orders for my Mother's Day boxes, and this was the first one. It was the cupcake and bento cake box, and I just love how it turned out, so cute. And all of my other orders were actually for the bento cake and flower box package, which I'm not surprised of because they're just too cute. So this is the first one I was doing, and you guys, I was up until 4 a.m. getting these cakes out. It was too much. So for the boxes, you got to pick the color of the box and the type of cake design you would like, but mostly everybody just asked for the sample box design I did, which I'm not surprised of because it was too cute. But I had a handful who asked for specific colors, like this one, they wanted it to be pink, so that's what I did. It was so cute. And then this one, they wanted this one to be purple, so I loved how this one turned out. It was just such a pretty shade of purple to me. And this cake was actually for my biggest order of these boxes. This person ordered 3 boxes, 1 purple, 1 green, and 1 like the sample box.
So if you've got a sweet tooth or you just want to support a young Bahamian woman chasing her dreams, go check out Brene. You'll be in good company. 16.1K people already know the magic she's mixing up. I'm Matea, and this has been Let's Talk Socials.
Thanks a lot, Matea. Well, that's a wrap for Access Now this evening.
Well, stay tuned for the rundown with Clint Watson.
Good night, everybody.
In the southern stretch of the Bahamas, where the ocean shifts from turquoise to deep sapphire, lies a place called Exuma. A place as rich in history as it is in natural beauty. more than just a paradise. It's a community woven together by salt, sun, and stories.
Here in the heart of Exuma, the sails were up and the spirit was high for the 69th edition of the National Family Island Regatta. Thousands journeyed here not just to witness the battle on the water, but to experience the culture.
Exuma offers more than just breathtaking views. During Regatta Week, we experienced the soul of the island, a celebration of heritage, resilience, and community.
Join us on Friday, May 23rd at 8:30 p.m. for breathtaking highlights from the National Family Island Regatta. It's where the wind takes us, only on the ZNS Network.
Coming up, crop overs already in the air, along with all the hype. They conquered the Caribbean. Now they're ready for the world. Solid financial support joins the battle versus severe medical conditions. There's absolutely everything you need and then some at this resort. It's all next on this station.
A new era is dawning in Grand Bahama. An opportunity, it's knocking louder than ever. Introducing Tract B, Bahama Reef Yacht and Country Club Unit 1. A prime corner commercial property, footsteps from the Port Lacaya Marketplace, crystal clear waters and white sandy beaches. This expansive 4.8-acre tract is zoned for commercial and multi-use development. Envision a thriving restaurant, a boutique hotel, or an entertainment hub unique to your vision come to life. You can live, work, play, and learn in paradise when you seize this rare opportunity today. Collaborate with DEFCO and let's shape the future of Grand Bahama Island together.
Covering the news seems easy, but we put thought into what we're doing. The Bahamas Tonight Access Now, here to inform, educate, and entertain. A new type of newscast featuring social media trends, news from around the islands, interviews with the people you like in our communities, sports, weather, and fabulous entertainment. That's a Bahamas Tonight Access Now with Marlena Leonard and LaDon Davis. 7:30, Monday to Friday. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
The Rundown is brought to you by Commonwealth Brewery Limited. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the show. It's great to have you with us for the start of another week. A big show tonight. We start off tonight with the political temperature rising. And though the next general election is still some time away, Progressive Liberal Party leader, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis, is sounding the call. What some are calling the unofficial start of the Progressive Liberal Party's campaign, the Prime Minister delivered a fiery speech this weekend, rallying his base while taking aim at the opposition. Devontae Hanna reports tonight.
Well, the Progressive Liberal Party's headquarters felt like a campaign launch more than just a regular men's branch meeting. Standing before an energized crowd, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis seemingly signaled the start of the governing party's aggressive bid for re-election.
Now is not the time to get comfortable. Now is the time to get battle ready.
Prime Minister, who was addressing the PLP's men's branch meeting on Sunday, also used the opportunity to take a jab at the opposition leader, Michael Pintard.
Michael Pintard wants to lead this country. But I have a simple question. A simple question. What real job has he ever had? If Pintard never had a real job, who's been paying his bills? Because if someone has always been paying his way, that means someone else has always been in charge. And if someone else is in charge of his life, how can we trust him to be in charge of this country?
And it didn't end there. Next came criticisms for the F&M's absence from last week's $827 million heads of agreement signing for the redevelopment of Grand Bahama's Grand Lucine Resort. And according to the Prime Minister, this despite being invited.
When the country makes progress, he goes silent or snares.
Are you serious?
When it's to support something good, he finds a way to stand in the way. Why? Because what's good for the Bahamas is bad for the F&M.
While the government has dismissed rumors of an early election, former Prime Minister Perry Christie made one thing clear: tough decisions hang in the balance for the party leader.
Decisions will have to be made on who will be candidates in the next general election. Some people will be in, some people will be out. But at the end of the process, our foundation must be as strong as it can possibly be.
Now, of course, for the PLP, locking down a second term means fighting from the front, with its performance in office speaking for itself. Prime Minister Davis is drawing clear lines between his leadership and the alternative. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Devontae Hanna reporting. Now, of course, you know, it's causing some controversy, those comments about what his job was or whether he had a job. So Prime Minister Davis not mincing words on social media about chastising opposition leader Michael Pintard. So on X, Prime Minister Davis declared that when he spoke last night at the PLP headquarters men's branch meeting, as you saw right there, he gave credit where credit is due. Pintard, Prime Minister Davis contends, has done well with his poetry and acting. He then asks the question, what has he done to help others? Where was his leadership when he had the chance? Prime Minister Davis touted his administration giving the Dundas Center its first ever government subvention that they're committed to fund annually. The Prime Minister Davis also feels Pintard barely met with or even provided support for Dundas officials when he was Minister of Culture. The Prime Minister boasted about establishing CAPAS, the country's creative and performing arts school that his government is proud to deliver. He also criticized that when Pintard was in government, such a school was promised but never began to plan. Even worse, he says, Pintard, the creative, and his government closed a national dance school. And looking ahead, Prime Minister Davis hinted that his office is working closely with the U.S. Embassy to ensure Bahamian creators are fairly compensated for their work on platforms like TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. The Prime Minister's social media post went on to say that leadership requires more than performance, and his administration is not just acknowledging the arts, they're building a future for them. And he again asked Mr. Pintard, show us your track record. What have you ever actually done? So that war is going to continue, and I'm sure it's going to intensify. Well, getting in on a piece of the action today is Minister of Tourism, Investment and Aviation, Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Chester Cooper. He's also firing back at F&M leader Pintard for firstly not attending last Thursday's ceremony for the signing of the heads of agreement for the Grand Lucine Resort in Grand Bahama. Now, while Mr. Pintard has since gone on record to state that the F&M welcomes the development and is hopeful that it will create an economic revitalization for Grand Bahama, which we'll get to in a second, he nonetheless wants clarification from the government and the developer about the terms of the agreement, timelines, and overall impact of the project. Now, DPM Cooper, during question and answer period with reporters in Exuma today, called the F&M enemies of progress.
It is regrettable that some who wish to be leaders of our country don't appreciate the progress the way the people seem to be inspired by it. This is an exciting time for the island of Grand Bahama. No doubt the Prime Minister will provide further details in the House over the coming days and weeks. But the reality is, you know, we're making progress. We're supportive of the progress we're seeing in Grand Bahama.
All right, so now let's get back to the opposition leader. What is he saying? Why weren't they there? And what does he actually have to say on his behalf? Well, he took his own swipe, charging that the Prime Minister is focused on the wrong things, the Free National Movement, and that he ignores the questions that need answers. Take a look at this.
Is the $120 million in the bank? Has the property been transferred to the developer? Is this deal connected in any way to the airport? Listen, I and we in the FNM support anything that helps Grand Bahamians get back on their feet. I hope this job that we're discussing finally gets done.
Okay, so let's try and bring this all in context. And I was trying my best to stay away from it because we know it's political season and the ball is flying all over the court. But I think we have to bring this in context, right? Because here we have the leader of the opposition saying, listen, there are questions that need to be answered. We want to have some answers to questions. Is the money in the bank? What are the plans? And all of what you just heard him say. And then I can't help but say to the leader of the opposition, well, okay, I get it, you have questions, so do all of us. The entire journalism corps has questions. People perhaps have questions. That does not negate the fact that you should have been there. Matter of fact, what better place and opportunity to get the questions answered by attending the event? Matter of fact, I'm just thinking here. Let's think aloud for a second. Can we think aloud for a second? Let's think aloud for a second. If by chance things go your way, Mr. Pintard, and you are elected in the next elections as Prime Minister, wouldn't you would have wanted to have met the investors? Wouldn't you have wanted to have said, I was there at the beginning for the signing? And wouldn't that make a great foundation for a good relationship? But your absence speaks louder than words. And imagine the investors who are all lined up from the various companies, all there, and no sign of you. It doesn't give the impression that you want good for Grand Bahama. Doesn't give the impression that you believe the investors. Imagine if you're an investor and you're questioning now after the fact as leader of the opposition whether this deal is actually going to go through. It shows that you have no confidence in the investors. So how then are you going to work with them if you're elected Prime Minister when you began with little to no confidence that their deal was actually legit? Because that's what you're saying. You're saying, well, how do we know this is true? How do we know the money's in the bank? I know if I was an investor, I would want nothing to do with you because you could not have the respect to talk to me, meet me, question me, ask me, but instead you interpret your own message that suits you, and then you want to come and play nice later. It doesn't work that way. Professionals and people that want to lead nationally know how to put aside the rhetoric, how to put aside the politics, and we do what's in the best interest for our country. Yes, you want to win an election. Yes, this goes as a feather in the cap of the government because they've been working hard to get a deal. But isn't it in the best interest of Bahamians at the end of the day? Do you want power, the seat of power, that bad that you will not show up to a good thing because you believe it will salute to the government for a deal that they have been working on for the Bahamian people? At what expense do you sacrifice the advancement of the Bahamian people for your personal goal? You see, that brings me to issues in our country, because the reality is there are too many people that serve in our country that are concerned about their personal interests rather than the interests of the country. And that's where we end up having bad governance, bad administrations, bad management in public service, because people only are concerned about their self-serving interests and not the interests of people. This was an opportunity to unite. This was an opportunity to say, listen, boy, we've seen some bad things in the past. Let's just hope this one works. Let's come together and let's hope for the best. Why? Because in the balance are people's lives. in the balance are people in Grand Bahama who have suffered for decades and are looking for some glimmer of hope. And to them, this is it again. So all they want to believe that this is going to happen. It is true. They're praying that this is a turning point for a new day in Grand Bahama, and there's no cliche there, but a new opportunity for them. They've struggled. They've been through. You know, one grandmother said to me, and I believe it was a nail on the head. We're tired of being labeled as resilient people. We want to now do good. I agree. We've always labeled them, oh, you're resilient. Oh, you're resilient, because it means that you're surviving when you should have been dead or you should have given up. Well, they want to change from being resilient to now experience the good of the land, experience a positive way forward, be able to take care of their families, be able to move back home if they moved away, be able to pay their bills. And if this is an opportunity that can perhaps open the door for that, with so many other projects that are going on, then you ought to be there and stand with them and say, listen, we're with you. We're with you. Whatever skepticism we may have, we're just going to hope it is not true. We're with you, because at the end of the day, what matters most is you. This was a perfect opportunity to show that you are in support of the people. Also present there was Iram Lewis, who's now a representative of the Coalition of Independents, saying the same thing. We want best. He didn't shrug away and say, oh, this is wonderful, this is great. He said, listen, we hope that this one sticks. We have some concerns, but at the end of the day, if this comes through, that means the people in my constituency have opportunities. That is maturity. That is what we are commanded in the 21st century in politics to do in this country. This is a different electorate. And this is what Bahamian people are calling for its leaders to be and to do. To leave the politics aside until when it's time for it, and when it's about pushing the advancement of Bahamians, to be mature enough to take a stand and push Bahamian first. We're getting ready. Today we're 52 days away today from our 52nd independence. And it's always going to be about unity. It's going to be about coming together. It's going to be about one Bahamas. It's going to be about celebrating our nation and its achievements. Well, this is what is a part of celebrating independence. Putting aside personal agendas and hoping for the best for our country. There is no way you could talk it down. There is no way you could explain it. There's no way you could justify it. You missed an opportunity to show your support for the Bahamian people. Missed opportunity. I hope it doesn't cost you. But it was a missed opportunity. Because at the end of the day, we have to show and demonstrate better than we talk it. We have to live it. We can't talk about unity and wanting the best for an island that's struggled for decades if we're not there. And I've heard some of the people from the FNM come out and talk and try to talk around it and dance around it. And you can very well do that because it's politics, right? I get it. And some of you will come out because of my monologue and you'll say what you have to say, and you'll come after me and okay, fine. And then what? After you've attacked this video, then what? After you've said all manner of evil, because you do it, then what? After you put your people out there to come after me, then what? At the end of the day, the Bahamian people are not foolish. They are watching for maturity, and they're hoping that people at the end of the day have their best interests. And guess what? News flash to all politicians. The Bahamian people's best interests will not necessarily always be in your benefit. But at the end of the day, it shows whether you're a real leader, because a real leader is not concerned about always winning. A real leader is concerned about advancing the people that they represent. That's true leadership. And if you can't put yourself aside and look out for the advancement of people, you are not ready to lead. And that's all I'll say on that. We've got another exciting show for you coming ahead. We're going to talk about mortgage campaigns. Here we go, another yoke. But we're going to make this one good because we're going to hopefully, have some questions. This is one of the leading banking institutions, and we're going to talk about some of the things they said they're going to do for the Bahamian people. This is the right night to come because I am all about my people tonight. So if it got to make sense. But we're going to talk to our RBC executives about how what they're offering can benefit you. Then a little later, we're going to talk about the Gender and Family Affairs Unit. We're going to talk to the new executive director about her plans and what she's going to do about it and how it's going to help make people's lives better. We're going to talk about that. Stay close to Rundown here on the ZNS Network. We get started with those discussions right after the break. Thanks.
Planning The execution of a newscast is serious business. From the assignment to the concept of the story, everything has to be precise, on point, always. The Bahamas Tonight, the national report, is your trusted news service. We get it right the first time. Our preparation for you each night is done with care, knowing that our voices will reach you on 700 islands and keys with unquestionable accuracy. It gives me great pleasure each night to say,
welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the national report. I'm your national anchor, Mukesh Lapinder.
Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, we have been in Exoma now for the past 4 years, carrying out our paving program. A part of our company's philosophy is to do some work to international standards. So when you look at our paving division, we have a state-of-the-art lab to do all of our testing in-house, as well as a state-of-the-art asphalt plant with a trained technician carrying out the work on that site. The overarching goal of our company is to produce the work that we're doing in the entire Bahamas to international standards. We also make a difference by the training of our staff. We have a very intensive training program going on to where we are teaching young men how to learn the art of striping. Being a young man myself, I've made mistakes in the past. I was given a second chance to better my life, and it's only fitting that we pass it along. What's important for us is giving them a second chance for them to get a skill and a career that could take them further in life.
Hey, what's up, Mario?
Hey, Dale, what's going on?
Have you seen ZNS new digital platforms?
No. Let me go check it out.
Good day, Bahamas. I'm Devontae Hanna, and this is ZNS Digital,
where we cater to your news and entertainment needs. Are you a foodie? I thought so. Then look out for Digital Bites.
Shining a light on Bahamians and the good that they do, ZNS Digital is home to the sunshine.
Keeping up with the latest trends, our original content will keep you entertained.
Yeah, that's cool.
But have you seen the new website?
No, I didn't see it. Let me go look.
We're still your most trusted source for news and information.
That's ZNS Digital?
Yeah, that's ZNS Digital, the people station in your pocket.
Welcome back to everyone. And listen, it's always great to have all of you joining us online. I see those of you who are in the Lion's Den, always great to have you and have great conversation. Those of you watching on the various platforms, whether you're in Turks and Caicos, around the region, internationally, or here at home, on whatever platform you're watching us on, cable TV, Flow TV, YouTube, it's always good to have you join the show. Thanks for being here tonight. Well, RBC Finco is a market leader in providing homes for Bahamians. Its primary business is providing mortgage financing on residential properties, mortgage or origination, not orientation, insurance, a full range of Bahamian dollar deposit services, foreign exchange, and automated banking machines. That means, listen up, potential homeowners, RBC Finco has a new mortgage campaign. It's called Your Idea of Home Sweet Home Happens Here. Now, my idea of Home Sweet Home is having a house without having to pay for it. Anyway, that's a different story. Joining us tonight to tell us all about the details, RBC Finco Managing Director Dwight Burrows and Area Vice President Dwayne Kemp. You know, they're outshining me tonight. That's all I'll say. I can say enough, they're outshining me. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Great to have you with us.
Good night.
Okay, so let's talk about it, because when people hear banks, they say, oh Lord, oh Lord. They're trying to yoke you now with a mortgage and so forth. But I think for so many Bahamians, mortgages has been such a bad experience. There are some who've had good experiences. I don't know who they are, but for so many people, it's been difficult. We know, and I always preach about it. I say preach about it because I always make a noise about it. Home ownership is so difficult in this country, and it's so expensive. All of the fees, all of the things you have to get in place, all of the compliance. I always tell people the bank that can find a way to take the pain out of this will be the bank that wins. right? And I went through the process. People tried to discourage me from getting a mortgage. They said, "Oh no, child, listen, you want to build too? It's better to buy. If you build, it can be hostile." I was determined that I wasn't going to have that experience, right? And I ended up having that nightmare times two.
Yeah.
But I got through it, and it was in Royal Bank, so relax. But it was a place where I felt as though the people weren't really always. There were people who looked out for me, and then there were people who just said, "Listen, this is a job." And I'm grateful to the people that looked out for me and tried to help me. But I still felt as though there was so much more that could have been said to me or to help me through the process, because you always have to deal with people who sometimes unscrupulous contractors, sometimes vendors that just go awry. And so you need to have that bank that's going to guide you. Because you don't have the experience in this. Most people are first-time mortgage recipients. And so you want a bank that's going to hold your hand and say, "Listen, you're going to counter this, but if you counter this, we got you. Here's how you do it. Here's what it's going to cost. And we're going to walk you through the process and be there for you." And I think banks want to do that, but somehow they get bogged down when they have 20 clients and you just bothering them. You're the fourth caller. It's frustrating. But let's talk about RBC Finco, right? Because it seems as though, and I'm not just saying this because you're here, but it seems as though you're doing something. I hear people talk about the success they've had with what it is that you're doing with your mortgage. Talk about, first of all, what makes RBC Finco stand out from other lending institutions when it comes to mortgages.
Yeah, so thanks a lot, Clint.
I had to get it off my chest.
Yeah, no. Listen, I'm a client also, so I get it.
Yes.
Yeah? So let me see where to start. Let me start by saying that we think RBC stands out, and RBC Finco stands out for a couple of key reasons. The first is that RBC itself has had an investment and has been a partner in the Bahamian community since 1908.
Do you understand the people?
117 years. You know, I reflected on it earlier, and I could not think of other businesses in the country that have been invested that long. RBC Finco itself, which is essentially the mortgage arm of RBC, was established back in 1953. So we're talking 72 years for that entity.
Wow.
And so I start with that because we think we're deeply rooted in this community. We think we have the strong backing of a global brand and presence. And we do recognize, make no mistake about it, we recognize that there are opportunities. But more and more, we're making a concerted effort to lean into holding our clients' hands through what in many cases is the most complex and largest investment that they will make. And so that's why I typically use the word tedious, because it's a tedious process to invest in a home. Construction is even more stressful than tedious. And so what we're attempting to do every day through coaching our team members and even ourselves, we're attempting to make the process easier, smoother, and you'll hear more about our mortgage campaign that is currently in market, where we talk about some of the incentives and some of the ways we're trying to make it cost-effective for our Bahamian public. But essentially, we think we are a market leader, and we'll talk a lot more about that shortly.
So talk to us about some of you're launching a new product, obviously, in the season. Tell us about this and why this differs from what else you've been doing.
So, Clint, you know, we recently launched our mortgage campaign. It's going to go until June 30th. So we're encouraging customers to come in and talk to us. And during this campaign, we're giving a lot of beneficial rates, incentives, rates as low as 3.95.
Really?
And I can tell you, based on current market trends, I don't know when you will see rates below 4%.
I was about to say, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
You can't beat that. Along with the beneficial rate, we're waiving our commitment fee, which is 2%.
Wow.
So that is being waived off the top.
So this is savings right off the top. Somebody sitting down contemplating why going for my mortgage, you got to start adding up the figures, right? Because the figures, they make a difference.
Absolutely. And Clint, I can tell you that's why a lot of Bahamians are not able to afford a home, because when you think about the initial startup cost, it's tremendous. So we at RBC now, we're waiving a lot of that cost and assisting with persons to try and make home ownership a reality for them. So in addition to to waive of the fees, the 3.95% interest rate. We're giving $1,000 towards the appraisal cost. So the appraisal, once we close on it, so if your appraisal is $700, we're still going to give you the $1,000, which can assist towards other fees.
Let me say that's good, because sometimes you forget that cost. I mean, the bank tell you we need you to bring in an up-to-date appraisal, and you're like, oh, or you got to go get the cost, and that could be pretty steep.
Yeah.
So this is good that you've actually thought about it and included it in it.
And I'll go one step further, Clint. And you talked about your mortgage and your experience. Switch it over to RBC. You're tired of that service you get, and switch it over to us. We're giving you 2% towards that back up to $12,000.
Wow.
Free of cost to you to assist with your transfer fees over to us.
Yeah.
So come over on the bright side.
The bright side.
No pun intended.
But listen, let's talk about mortgages, right? Because a lot of people sit there and say, well, how do I qualify, right? And what do you begin to tell somebody? You're going to need a list of, you see this paper here? All these are fees that you're going to take care of. What do you say to people when they say, well, what do I need to be able to get a mortgage? What do you say to people?
So when somebody say they want to get a mortgage, we sit down and we have a conversation with that client, because that is one of the biggest investment any person will make in their life. So we want to sit down and go through from start to finish. We will give them an itemized listing of all the fees that's included, but then we would also tell them what they qualify for. So we would pre-qualify a client, and we would give them a letter saying, well, hey, Clint Watson is qualified for $2 million. So now...
You had to go to $2 million, didn't you? A lot of people go out there. Oh, he qualified for $2 million. A lot of people go. Go ahead.
Hypothetically. Right? So, but you can now comfortably take that letter and effectively shop with a real estate agent. You can show the agent, well, hey, this is what I can qualify for. And you now could look and feel comfortable shopping.
Yeah. Do you advise people, and I keep asking this question because the market changes, to build or to buy?
Well,
so,
maybe I'll take this. I wouldn't use the word, or I wouldn't suggest or say that we advise people to do one thing or the other. What we typically do is have a conversation with our clients to understand, first of all, where they are in their life cycle, what is it that they're trying to achieve, what's their financial position, what's their financial profile, and then we go down the road of getting into deeper discussions if the client wants to buy a vacant lot of land first, work on paying that down, and then build themselves, because there are individuals who don't want to buy someone else's home.
Right.
But there are others who fear the stress of the construction process. So they want to buy a turnkey or a standalone, and whether that's new or a rental. Once we determine what the client wants and if it fits their budget and profile, then we hold their hands and we coach them along the process of ensuring that they secure that investment, whether it's construction, whether it's vacant land, whether it's purchase, and whether it's a switch.
And you can look at timeline. Right. Because when you're going to construct, that's an 18-month to 2-year process minimum.
Right.
Time you get your plans drawn, get them approved through the ministry. So again, timeline plays a very important part.
Well, in some cases longer. Lord help us. I still have nightmares. I still have nightmares. But you're correct. And that brings us to this question. Do you have a list of, okay, these are contractors that we recommend, and these are contractors you should stay away from? I'll tell you one example. The contractor we went with was on a list of who the bank recommended. He turned out to be a disaster. We ended up firing him, right? They missed it, obviously, and he was disastrous. And we had to go get somebody else to help finish the project. It got bad. But those are the things that you don't expect to have happen. You figured if I go with somebody that the bank is recommending to me, they should know how to do this, they should know what to do, and so forth. That turned out not to be the case. So do you have a list of vendors that you approve for different things so that people know that you could possibly be on safe ground if you use these vendors?
We try to stay away from recommending contractors. What we ask is they provide up-to-date business license as well as reference letters from persons that they would have billed for before. We want to get away from exactly your experience. Saying the bank sent me to John, but it wasn't a pleasant experience. But we also look into the background and see if it's something, or if we had a negative experience with the contractor, then we would weigh that into, but we don't direct the client with direction to go in.
What do you find is the biggest challenge with persons getting mortgages? What are the biggest issues people are facing in the process?
In terms of qualifying for a mortgage?
Qualifying first, and then secondly, once they've gotten the mortgage and going through the process to either build a home or complete the process.
Yeah, there's so many things. I'll share some initial views. So usually we find a number of different challenges. There are individuals who haven't prepared themselves sufficiently to qualify or afford a mortgage. And that's through different things, through the savings that they have towards their down payment, and we can talk a bit about that later. There are individuals who are not paying attention to their credit history and their credit bureau report, which is now a real thing.
That's a real thing now.
It's a real thing. So if I can leave one key message with the general public tonight, it's know your credit score, know your credit report. I believe every Bahamian has access or right to request one free of charge. And take a look at that and ensure that it's clean, especially if you're thinking of applying for a mortgage anytime soon. And then there are so many other factors, but typically it's preparation in terms of down payment. Sometimes individuals stretch beyond their budget or their capacity to afford a home that may be out of budget. And while some of those qualify, there's a tendency for those very same individuals to run into challenges after they own that home. And then one last thing on the contractor piece. From my experience, I've seen many clients who, and this is back to planning effectively and properly, who approach a contractor with a plan, with specific details. They lock themselves into a contract, and then there's so many changes and adjustments throughout the process. And so we see some of that through our experience also. But the long and short of maybe I'll close on this point. You asked earlier about the importance of having an approved list and operating with licensed vendors. In the mortgage process, it's critical that individuals work with trusted and professional advisors, be it appraisers, be it attorneys, real estate agents, of course banks, and even the inspectors and quantity surveyors.
The inspectors,
absolutely.
Yeah. So we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue talking about this. I will have some more questions for them. I think people are being very engaged in this. But we'll talk more about that on the other side of the break. Step back. We're back after this. Stay close.
The new stuffed crust cheddar flavor has a taste you'll enjoy.
Outside and inside.
With a delicious stuffed crust covered in irresistible cheddar flavor. Come and try the new stuffed crust cheddar flavor only at Little Caesars.
Pizza, pizza.
Covering the news seems easy, but we put thought into what we're doing. The Bahamas Tonight Access Now, here to inform, educate, and entertain. A new type of newscast featuring social media trends, news from around the islands, interviews with the people you like in our communities, sports, weather, and fabulous entertainment. That's a Bahamas Tonight Access Now with Marlena Leonard and LaDon Davis. 7:30, Monday to Friday. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
Welcome back to the Rundown. We're continuing a conversation with RBC Finco executives Dwight Burrows and Dwayne Camp on the mortgage campaign that they're presenting. And I wanted to go to, Dwayne, you want to say something before the break, so let's allow you a chance to say
Yes,
that.
I want to double back on the question that you asked. One of the major hurdles we see, for me, it's not being realistic with the cost and not understanding what it is you qualify for. So I've seen tons of cases where persons would have bought the property, not coming to get pre-qualified, start construction out of pocket, take the building up to bell cost, then they come to us and realize the cost to complete is far out of budget.
But see, you know, I guess I'm glad you raised that, because a lot of people believe, well, that's giving me a head start, right? Yeah. And that's going to help with my equity because I have the structure already, our foundation there, that should help lower my cost of my mortgage. Yeah. But that's not always a good thing to do?
No, it's not. It is if you understand the overall cost. If you're just building blindly, not understanding that, hey, my budget or what I can qualify for is right. So you know, if I could qualify for say $600,000, but I'm now billing a $900,000 home, it falls out. So
you fall short.
You fall short, and nothing pains me more than when I see a client of $80,000-$90,000 in the ground,
right,
and we're unable to complete the project for them
because they don't qualify what it'll take to complete it.
So my advice: come in and speak before you start the process. Come in and speak to one of our friendly professionals. Get sound financial advice.
I just say friendly professional.
Yeah. Friendly
Stress
professional.
friendly. Right? Because some people ain't friendly. Okay.
Clint, you've known me all my life.
Yeah, you've always been friendly.
Yes, yes.
Let's talk about this down payment, because a lot of people are wondering, okay, now, you know, I want to go to the bank, but I know if I have all this money. Let's talk about down payment. What do people need for down payment?
Yeah. So you could come up with a minimum of down payment as low as 10% down, which is our down payment. So it really all depends on the client profile. We look at it, but we would give you a list of all the fees, or every down payment, the lawyer fees, bank fees, from start to finish. So there's no hidden fees. We go even down to your closing costs in terms of your home insurance. So there are a lot of things that are involved with it. So we'll give you a sheet from the beginning, outlining everything. So again, there's no surprises. Again, I would suggest you speak with your attorney, because the attorney fees would vary.
Yes.
The standard fee is 2.5%, but again, Mr. Attorney can say, well, you know what, Clint, you're a big shot, I'll charge you 1%, or I'll waive your fee. That fee we have no control over, but again, we urge you to speak with the attorney so he can give you an accurate cost for his cost.
Are Bahamians prepared to become homeowners? I mean, we always talk about the biggest challenge in the country is, of course, savings, right? And people want a home, but they don't recognize that you have to be prepared. And your decisions you make before that are going to impact your ability to do it. Is there a danger zone when it comes to age to qualify for mortgage? Because people don't think that. People say, okay, well, I 30-something, 40-something, I could go get a mortgage now, and don't recognize that age plays a factor in determining the ability to get this mortgage, how long it's going to be, and how much money you're going to pay. Talk about the age factor.
So, you want to go?
So I know when there's always a painful question, you said,
No. Just always determining which angle to take it from. So we have some caps in terms of mortgage financing. So usually I believe it's 30 or 35 years. That's the maximum time for most of the banks for a mortgage. And so you have to appreciate that if the standard retirement age for Clint is 65, let's go to standard 30 year. 65 minus 30 is 35. So for someone like yourself in the civil service, you that would typically retire at 65, you would want to ensure.
We're quasi-government, so we retire guys at what, 60? In quasi-government. You just drop 5 years off.
You just drop 5 years off. Now, so again, and I'm just going standard mortgage process here. That's how you can estimate your timelines in terms of when you should lock in a mortgage for your home.
So if you retire at 60, as do employees at the Broadcasting Corporation, and you're trying to get a mortgage for 35 years, so it's manageable, then that means you need to get that mortgage by 25. Is my math correct? Yeah. By 25.
25. Or you have to continue to work yourself up the ladder and bring your income levels up.
So maybe get a 25-year mark.
Absolutely.
So the reality of it is, do you want to be retired and still having to pay a mortgage?
No one does.
Right.
No one should have to do that.
So that is why we provide that financial advice around, look, let's time this out.
This is good because people are not thinking at that age, in that age sector, you need to be making some decisions now.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
If you want to comfortably be able to live. Now, you could, like you said, squish it into a 20-year period, and then your mortgage payment is going to be that much more because you have to get it done within 20, 25 years.
Well, so, Clint, let me add this, right? The difference between a 25-year mortgage payment and a 30-year mortgage payment is very minimal. However, the interest that you pay over that additional 5 years is far greater. So this is why coming in and getting the sound financial advice from one of our friendly professionals is very important.
And so we're speaking specifically to the term, but there are other important factors because I have a few friends and family members that are doctors. And I just want to switch the conversation a bit. We know in that space, in that industry, you probably study until you're 35, 40, and you don't get established until then. They then lean more on income levels. Right, versus having the stress about a 30-year mortgage. Yeah, and so we look at term, we look at income levels, we look at the individuals that have other income sources. So it could vary case by case.
Yeah.
But when you talk standard mortgage, you want to give yourself maybe 30 years and work your way back from what your normal retirement age would be based on what you do.
Yeah. Do you have what you call the standard income and what that mortgage payment should be per month for that particular sector?
No, because it really varies.
It varies. On salary and person and individual.
And what we do at RBC Finco, we pride ourselves in tailor-making a product specifically for that client, right? One product don't fit all, right? I take the soup, for instance, right? My soup can never fit you and vice versa.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
What I'm saying is we tailor-make the product for that client. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's for this client. So once someone comes after that, then we look at that client on its own merit.
Yeah. Well, obviously, people are looking at mortgages and saying, okay, well, if I get a mortgage, how do I live? I have to pay water bill, I have to pay light bill, I have to pay cable bill, internet, all these other things. Do you take those things into consideration when you look at, okay, if this is going to come out of your salary, you're going to have to live off this? And a lot of people don't think about that.
Yeah.
So when we're qualifying a client, we don't look at the light bill, the water bill.
Right.
However, we still have a budget calculator that we would run through with a client. But in our calculation, we allow 45%.
I was about to say, because some people way over that debt servicing ratio.
So you have to factor that in. I mean, when you have a mortgage, you still have to determine how you're going to live.
Correct.
Yeah. Right? And so that's why we allocate a maximum of 45% of your monthly income to pay loan payments, credit card payments, real property tax,
home insurance, and your mortgage.
So things along those lines.
So the standard debt servicing ratio is around 45%.
Correct.
And what that allows is that the consumer then has the balance of that 55% to take care of everything else, the balance of their living needs and expenses.
All right. What do you want people to know as we close about this mortgage campaign?
Come in and see us, talk to us. We have the lowest rate in town.
That's a big winner for me. Yeah.
We have friendly, professional staff that will give you sound financial advice, which is very important. We're going to guide and hold your hand from the process from start to finish. And we want to make the process easier, right? To the point where we have launched a Get Approved in 60-second app.
Really?
Go right on, Approved in 60 seconds.
Where's that?
On our website, rbcroyalbank.com/Caribbean.
All right.
And you would fill it out, and it would send all the information in, and one of our friendly sales professionals will reach out to you.
If somebody meets somebody unfriendly, please let me know.
Please let
I will tell Dwayne you're lying to the people.
Absolutely. Call me.
Well, thank you. And I'm glad that we have institutions that are actually thinking about the consumer and how you could better serve the consumer. Because home ownership should not just be a dream. It should be a reality for our people. And the way it could be reality is if we have institutions that are thinking about the Bahamian people and how they can better serve them and better make their products available to them. After all, if your products can't be accessed by Bahamians, and why you're in business.
Absolutely.
So, gentlemen, thank you. We wish you all the best. You can call RBC Finco for more information. If you need to find out, go on the website. And I can vouch. I can vouch for these guys. They mean what they say. And if they don't, let me know. And we'll bring them back and that'll be another story. Gentlemen, thank you for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much,
best to you.
Yeah, man.
Stay with us. The Family and Gender Affairs Unit is here. We're going to talk about what the new director is going to have up her sleeve, what she's hoping to do. We'll talk to them right after the break. Stay close.
Mailboat service is a critical service to the islands of the Bahamas. Certainly, Andrews has always been there and dear to us. That's where we're born and raised. And so we play a crucial role in advancing the growth and development of Andrews. Customers want service and they want consistency. From the start, that's been our commitment. We work to sail on time every time. Our customers have come now to expect this from us. And one of the biggest challenges we've had was finding adequate funding. SPDC from the very start has been a lifesaver. My advice to young people, if you have a vision, a passion, an idea, go for it, don't give up, It's not easy. If it was, everybody would be doing it. Be consistent and you'll get there.
Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, we have been in Exoma now for the past 4 years, carrying out our paving program. A part of our company's philosophy is to do some work to international standards. So when you look at our paving division, we have a state-of-the-art lab to do all of our testing in-house, as well as a state-of-the-art asphalt plant with a trained technician carrying out the work on that site. The overarching goal of our company is to produce the work that we're doing in the entire Bahamas to international standards. We also make a difference by the training of our staff. We have a very intensive training program going on to where we are teaching young men how to learn the art of striping. Being a young man myself, I've made mistakes in the past. I was given a second chance to better my life, and it's only fitting that we pass that along. What's important for us is giving them a second chance for them to get a skill and a career that could take them further in life.
I am a master plumber by profession. I've been doing plumbing for over 40-odd years. When I was 9 months old, I was diagnosed with polio. To me, living with polio, I took it the way it is. I never allowed my polio to get in my way of anything. In fact, I love when people doubt me, and I just prove them wrong. And let me tell you, in the world, you could only find a plumber as good as me, but you ain't gonna find no plumber better than me. People with disability, they just need a chance. In this program, I feel so encouraged. Most of the mentors have different kind of disability, but disabilities like me. Sharing and caring and showing so much support with people with disability. They would encourage you to go beyond. I wish this was around a long time ago. Right now, I would have been a millionaire. You out there who have a disability, don't be afraid. Take the step. If you believe it, you could achieve it. And remember one thing, ain't no one better than me, and ain't no one better than y'all. God made all us equal.
For more information about how the SBDC can help your small business to make a big impact, give us a call at 461-7232 or visit sbdcbahamas.com. The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting tingsybahamas.com.
Welcome up. Before we wrap up tonight, she's worn several leadership hats: National Women's Advisory Council President, Consumer Protection Commission Executive Director, Ministry of Economic Affairs Legal Consultant, and the former Data Protection Commissioner. But now, Sharmi Farrington has a new post, heading the Department of Gender and Family Affairs under the Ministry of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting. In her new post, she plans to continue the work of the department on preparing women for leadership roles in politics, preparing willing and qualified women to reach the top. She joins us tonight on the rundown to talk more about her agenda. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. My pleasure to be here.
And might I add, the fact that you've had these posts previously just shows how capable you are in getting the work done while you're sought after in so many positions. So congratulations.
Thank you so much
for that. Let's talk about gender affairs, because we hear that and people want to know, okay, what do they do?
Yes.
What are they advancing? Talk a little bit about your focus and the work of your department.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Bahamas. It's my pleasure to be here. I'm happy and humble, as I said, to be in this new post. It's a passion of mine, of course, women advancement and women empowerment. Gender equality really is about ensuring that there's equal rights, opportunities, and responsibilities for both sexes, both men and women. And I think when people hear gender affairs, they always tend to think a couple of things. One, oh, it's always about women. We're talking about women, but no, it's about men, women, boys, and girls. And then, of course, people say the other thing, well, what are y'all about? What are y'all about? Are you trying to usurp the authority from the men? Are you trying to be above the men? And no, we're not trying to usurp authorities from the men. What we're trying to be is equal partners, particularly around the decision-making table.
Let's talk about that, because I know there's always this concern that that women in the same profession make less than the male counterpart, and there ought to be equality and parity in salaries. And then we talk about some jobs where women are denied and a male is always preferred. Are these issues that we face in our country?
We do. We always have, for instance, as we talk with women, some women say, listen, we had the same job, right? We have more qualifications in some cases, but we were being paid less. And it comes right down to educating the public, people understanding that persons, whether they're male or female, ought to be paid the same salary for similar positions and doing similar work, particularly where they're both qualified. Ms. Knowles in my office always like to give the example of Clint, a man or a woman having twins.
Right.
One is a boy and one is a girl. Both are engineers, so whatever profession, and they apply for the same job. And some employers would hire the male simply because he's a male, you know, and even though the girl could do the job or have more capacity to do the job, they will say, oh, because he's a male, let us hire him. Because we don't want the woman, she's too emotional, so let's get the man.
Have we not kind of created this? Because we have been a society where the minute we see a male involved in something, we say, oh, great, let's get the males, because if you don't see males involved, we do it at university, oh, males are enrolled, make sure they come, make sure they access and they're able to get into the college when somebody else may be turned down, but we need more males, so let them get in. Or, you know, there's any kind of thing, we tend to want to give it to a male because we have not seen so many males involved in society, and so we tend to want to push the male. Have we not created that ourselves?
I think so. I always like to talk about gender equality, but there's this important word called equity.
Right.
You know, equity demands that you look at the need base, because there are some careers that would need more male.
Right.
There are some careers that would need more females. There are certain circumstances and career paths where we want to look at it and say, what does equity require? Certainly when we look at certain of the career paths in the country, women have done extremely well. If you look, for instance, one of the Beijing Platform Declaration, there are 12 action points that my office look at. One of them being, of course, women in power and decision making, right? So when we look at women in public, like for instance, we have a number of female permanent secretaries who do very well there. But then when we look, when we come to the political arena, actually looking at the women, the composition in the cabinet and the composition in the houses of parliament, then we see a different picture there. And so we have to look at proponents of gender equality. We have to look at those areas and say, okay, where do we need to focus? What is the area that we need to focus now? We know across industry, we've seen a lot of women advances. We just got recently kudos to Shanta Knowles, of course, the first commissioner of police. We just saw the deputy Commodore of the Defense Force. Right. And so we have a number of achievements. But when it comes to women around the political table, we have some work to do, Clint. And so our office now have to look at those areas where we see there is a need, where equity demands that we do more.
And I was supposed to ask you, should it just be that we have more women in leadership, or do we need more women who are capable of the roles that they play? Not just putting there to meet a quota, but it should be a fact that you are the right choice, you're the better choice.
You're capable, you have the capacity, and you're competent is a good word to use, because we just don't want women because, okay, that's a woman, or even a man, just because the man. Does the woman have the capacity to carry out the functions of that office? And also, like versa, does the man have the capacity and the competency to carry out that office? I often say there are certain careers, as I said before, that we may want to say, okay, when we're talking about men, we're talking about strength, right? And that's just a physical attribute, that men can lift things, okay? And when you're talking about women, for some career, women show more compassion, and that's a fact. If you see somebody get hurt, a man may come make an assessment of it and move on. A woman is still there, you know, trying to bring comfort. So that's our general makeup.
That's in our DNA makeup.
Yeah, that's our makeup.
That's how she's made up.
Advantage of that.
A recent forum obviously was held with women to talk about, are we ready for a female prime minister? What is your view on that?
Absolutely. I've recently said, if you follow me in the paper, that I long for the day when the Bahamas will join other Caribbean nations, where all of them, most of them, not all, but most of them, we've seen female prime ministers in Jamaica. We look at Trinidad, what's going on there now. They have both prime minister, president, and leader of the opposition are female. We're ready. We certainly have capable women. If you look across the political divide, and I look at the very capable Minister of Education, not being political, because I think when we're looking at women leaders, she's been there for some. I think she's the senior there now. We look across the aisles and we look at, I'm just talking about Senator Michaela Barnett, and when I listen to her contribution, the way she makes a contribution of substance in the Senate, and so we know that women are capable. We've seen it. It's just that we have to be more focused, more intentional. We have to look at the system that sometimes can be an impediment to women reaching that top post, because we have serving consecutively, simultaneously now in both houses, the Speaker and the President. So we know they're capable.
I'll give you the final word about your office and of course, pushing gender and family affairs. What do you else want to say?
I want to say to the Bahamian public, you can look forward to a more robust Department of Gender and Family Affairs. It's for men, women, boys and girls. You can expect us to have our boots on the ground, no puns intended. We heard that social services, as you know, we are in the trenches. Our Honorable Minister, Miles LaRota, and our Permanent Secretary, Fedra Raman, has given us the mandate to really go out there, to really make a difference, impact the lives. We will be at shelters. We were there last week with the women's shelters. So we actually taking social services to the people. And
the heartbeat of the nation,
heartbeat, and making it the heartbeat of the nation.
Well, thank you. We definitely support your efforts as we seek to make our society better. Thank you so much, and congratulations. All the best. However we can support, we are here to support.
Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And that does it for the rundown. Be sure to stay locked on the ZNS Network for the Bahamas tonight at 11. It's the final newscast in the country with the latest news and information with Royston Jones. He's in the building preparing for 11 o'clock. For all of us here at ZNS, I'm Clint Watson. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget, tonight at 9:30, another special edition of the Social Services Show with host Debbie Bartlett. They're going to be talking about some of the things they're doing in the community. So make sure you watch the ZNS Network at 9:30. And then, of course, 11 o'clock, the late night news with Royston Jones. Good night, everyone.
At Fort Montague, I'm Opal Roach. This is ZNS.
What do you say that we finish this